Chapter 1. If your heart is clear, there's no need to fear any wind and rain. The absolute great master system has been bound. Please collect the newbie gift pack as soon as possible. When he heard this voice for the third time, Sun Mo wanted nothing more than to smash the dog head of the other party. It was fine if you don't want to extend a helping hand, but is there a need to taunt me like that? Gurgle. Sun Mo's body sank downward. A large amount of lake water immediately splashed on his face, gushing into his mouth and nose. If this is a swimming pool, how many mouthfuls of urine would I have drunk? Sun Mo self-ridiculed, trying to suppress his nervous and scared emotions. If not, he was afraid he couldn't continue preserving his swimming technique, the dog paddle, was something self-taught in a small river outside the village. If he was alone, he would be able to persist until he reached the shore. But now that he was pulling a girl through the water, he felt a little helpless. Save me. The black-haired girl struggled with all her might as she flailed about. Stop moving about randomly or you will die. Before Sun Mo finished his speech, he swallowed another mouthful of lake water. The suddenness of it made him involuntarily want to cough. The absolute great master system has been bound. Please collect the newbie gift pack as soon as possible. Fuck. Sun Mo dragged the girl by her clothes and climbed to the shore as he panted wildly. Gazing at the surroundings like a wild dog, he then ruthlessly raised his middle finger, but there wasn't even a single person in the vicinity. The beautiful moonlight was like silver sand sprinkling on the grass. The Yunting Lake in the distance was glistening like crystal. What the hell? Sun Mo furrowed his brows. It seemed that they were tight enough to crush a crab. Lowering his head, he cast another glance at the girl he had just saved. The girl was wearing ancient-style clothing, and there was even a sachet at her waist. Why isn't she Meow? Sun Mo felt a little headache. After he had graduated, he went to number 2 high school to teach. In a short 6 years, he managed to teach 2 students who ended up going to Tsinghua and Peking University. His dazzling achievements caused him to take the lead role in high school. Initially, getting a raise and promotion should have been a cinch, but who knew that a girl named Zhu Miao from the next class had fallen for him? After he rejected her, Zhu Miao started to spread rumors that the two of them were together. She was preparing to make lies into the truth. Sun Mo didn't want his life to be destroyed. Hence, he had invited Zhu Miao to the park for a detailed chat. When they were rowing a boat in the lake, Zhu Miao suddenly lunged at him. This caused the two of them to fall into the lake together. What is this place exactly? The flames of anger still burned in Sun Mo's heart. He glanced at the plants in the surroundings. The atmosphere was quiet and gloomy, and this seemed to be the outskirts. A look of doubt gradually appeared on his face. Cough, cough. The girl lying on the ground started to cough because of discomfort, spitting out a generous amount of lake water mixed with saliva. Her gaze was disorganized and perplexed, and she was gradually regaining consciousness. Are you all right? The girl asked weakly. Life is so beautiful, please don't commit suicide. Did water just enter your brain? Sun Mo was depressed. I have only played the computer I bought for a few $1,000s a few times. Why would I commit suicide? Do I have nothing better to do? Amen. The girl had a stupefied look on her face. In that case, why are you trying to drown yourself by jumping into the river? Huh? Sun Mo suddenly discovered a problem. Don't tell me you got into the water because you wanted to save me. You were Ziki, herself in third person. You stupid fool. The girl muttered. Her beautiful face turned red instantly. She had originally come to rescue someone, but she ended up being rescued by him instead. How embarrassing. The absolute great master system has been bound. Please collect the newbie gift pack as soon as possible. The annoying sound rang out once more, causing him to be extremely vexed. Ring, ring, ring. Can you stop being so annoying? Clanking sounds. A large, shiny treasure chest suddenly appeared before Sun Mo. It was so bright that it almost blinded his dog eyes. Do you want to open it? The system asked. Sun Mo glanced around, and his gaze fell onto the girl. After that, he grabbed the chest, seemingly understood that he was the only one who could see this. Open or not? The system continued asking. Open, open, open. If there isn't a mansion or valuable treasures in there, I'm going to bust open your dog head. Sun Mo was extremely impatient. The treasure didn't give Sun Mo enough preparation time and immediately opened. A golden-colored book appeared in front of him, slowly spinning about. Congratulations! You obtained the Grand Master Grade Divine Sight. When you focus your sight, you can read all the data of your target. The system's voice was as listless as a husky resting in the shadows of a roof on a hot summer day. Clearly, there was no sense of congratulations. It was clearly just conventional polite words. Sun Mo's lips twitched and he glanced at the girl who finally sat up. His gaze became focused, and three white large words Li Ziki floated above the head of the girl. This should be her name. Gradually, other streams of data jumped out of her body. The white words trembled unceasingly, and there were even lines of evaluation at the end. Strength, 4. Level of an ordinary girl. Slightly stronger than someone who lacks the strength to even truss a chicken. Intellect, 10. Numerical value off the charts. When the majority of people are compared to you, it would be a praise to even call them monkeys. Agility, 1. Slightly more inferior than a klutz. Suggestion: do not head out from your house. You face the risk of stumbling and tripping to your death if you walk. Sun Mo had a stupefied look on his face. What the hell was this? My name is Li Ziki. Upon seeing Sun Mo not speaking, the girl felt the atmosphere was a little awkward. Hence, she found a topic, wanting to alleviate the tense atmosphere. Oh, Sun Mo continued to ask, did you jump into the water because you wanted to save me earlier? But she hurriedly shook her head again, blushing furiously. After all, she had failed to save him and almost drowned instead. This was just too embarrassing. Sun Mo's lips twitched. You are someone with 1 point of agility, but you still want to save others. Are you tired of living? However, when he thought of how the girl intended to save him, his expression became much gentler. Thanks. When she heard Sun Mo's thanks, Li Ziki was like a rabbit being stepped on. She immediately leapt as her hands continued waving. No need for you to thank me. I got the whole situation wrong and also, you are the one who saved me. Li Ziki was evidently depressed. She didn't know when she would stop being such a klutz. In any case, Sun Mo had also been a teacher in charge for 6 years. What sort of students had he not seen before? With his experience and the information gained from Divine Sight, he was able to guess the reason behind Li Ziki's depression. Not all gold is sufficiently pure, and nobody is perfect. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. So what if you are a klutz? Sun Mo laughed. Moreover, you have a pair of good brains. Your intellect alone can crush many people. Really? Li Ziki's eyes brightened. She inclined her head and stared at Sun Mo. Sun Mo didn't lie. This girl, whose intelligence was off the charts, was a top genius that all his rival teachers wanted. She would never be assigned to his class. But Li Ziki suddenly thought of the rumors and gossip targeting her. Don't care too much. A clumsy young girl really caused people to be fond of them. As Sun Mo spoke, he subconsciously patted her head slightly. If your heart is clear, there's no need to fear any wind and rain. It was only meant to be some words of consolation, but after Sun Mo finished speaking, a golden light suddenly shone around them. Swish swish swish. The strands of golden light were like the rain, sprinkling and scattering out, penetrating Li Ziki's heart and nourishing it silently. Li Ziki was shone upon by the golden light, and her body also began to emit golden light as well. She suddenly felt extremely refreshed and vitalized. Her entire person became more optimistic and cheerful. You are a great teacher. Li Ziki had a look of astonishment on her face as she looked at Sun Mo. This young man was at most 18 or 19 in age. Yet, he was already a great teacher. Sun Mo lowered his head and glanced at the clothes he was wearing. He was somehow clad in blue robes of an ancient style too. Although the time he spent on shore wasn't long, he still understood his current situation. He should have traversed space-time and arrived at another world. This place was Middle-earth. There were 9 provinces and tens of countries in this world, and each of them was the capital of learning and education. Regardless of which country, great teachers were the most respectable of all occupations. However, it wasn't easy to be a great teacher. One had to have a moment of enlightenment, possess the great teacher halo, be proficient in several types of occupations, and pass a strict test by the Saint Gate. Earlier, that was the priceless advice, right? Li Ziki had a look of worship in her eyes. The effects are very strong. A great teacher could transmit the Tao and dispel the students' doubts. The Great Teacher Halo was a unique talent all great teachers had. The halos could help the students relax, allowing them to comprehend the teaching with higher efficiency. This priceless advice was able to let the logic of the great teacher influence the students. It would allow them to not forget this for several days and maintain the same state of heart. If a student hated studying and the great teacher used priceless advice to persuade the student would be infused with fighting spirit and work hard in their studies for several days. Staring at the strange gaze of little sister Liziki, Sunmo didn't know how to say the words he had been about to say. I just gained a flash of enlightenment earlier. At the same time, the system's notification rang out. Ding! Favorable impression from Liziki +3. Prestige connection with Liziki unlocked. Current state, neutral, 3/100ths. Remark. Put in more effort and gain the first enthusiastic fan student on your path to be a great teacher. Which academy are you from? Asked Liziki while blinking curiously. Central Province Academy. Sunmo tidied up the memories in his mind and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The situation of his host was truly terrible. No wonder his past self would want to head to the outskirts to relax. After his past self in this world had graduated, he luckily entered the Central Province Academy. It was just that the other graduates in the same batch as him had all become teaching assistants, while he was tossed to the logistics department. Wow, the Central Province Academy. You are so awesome to be able to teach there. The worship in Liziki's eyes became even more fervent. That was one of the 9 great academies in Middle-earth. The Central Province Academy was extremely famous and had an outstanding reputation. Hee. You don't need to praise me. Sunmo didn't know what he should say. 300 years ago, the Central Province Academy had experienced a huge calamity, and all the great teachers and genius students died completely. From then on, that setback led to total collapse. It gradually declined and only had its past reputation to depend on. Now, in the 9 provinces of Middle-earth, there were over thousands of academies. They were divided into different grades based on their size and number of qualified teachers. Currently, the Central Province Academy had already fallen to the D grade. In the league tournament this year, if it continued to be ranked at the bottom, it would be delisted and removed from the education system. If I didn't remember wrongly, it would soon be the student recruitment meet for the Central Province Academy, right? I'll go there and support you. Liziki's smile was very sweet. Her adorable dimples seemed to be filled with honey. Ding, mission issued. Please make Liziki wholeheartedly take you on as her teacher within half a month. Reward, 1 mysterious treasure chest. The voice of the system rang out in Sunmo's ears, and it caused him to involuntarily curse silently in his heart. Now, I'm just a part of the logistics department. I basically have no qualifications to take on disciples. Chapter 2, Favorable Impression +1. The night was already late, the bonfire swayed gently in the wind. Liziki, who was a budding beauty, emitted a dense air of innocence only teenage girls would have. This was especially so for her melon-shaped face. It was beautiful and adorable. Although she wasn't an adult yet, she already possessed the immature charm of one. A few years later, she would definitely rank among the top ranks of beauties and become famous throughout the world. Yet, Sunmo had no time to admire her beauty. His brain was busy searching through the great absolute teacher system. The system can help the host to become a great absolute teacher. The host can gain an increase in favorable impressions through the system guidance and targets set. Favorable impressions can be transformed into gold coins and be used as the currency to purchase items from the system shopping store. Merchandise sold includes but is not limited to various spells, secret treasures, alchemical pills, absolute arts, and blueprints. Sunmo read silently and chose to open up the system shopping store. A shop's shelf made of sandalwood appeared before his eyes. However, nothing was on it other than a glowing dark red fruit at the right corner. Star Moon Fruit, price 1000 favorable impression points. After consuming it, it will increase your level. Sunmo's expression became unsightly. Are you kidding me? Where's the bunch of good stuff I promised? Why is there only one item? Do you believe that I'll smack your face? In the continent of 9 provinces, spirit chi was in abundance. and some distinguished sages had created various cultivation methods. If one trained their cultivation to the extreme, they could achieve eternal life and shatter the void. Up until now, tens of thousands of years had already passed in this world, and it had become a mature system. The first realm for cultivators was known as the body refinement realm. Next was the spirit refining realm. Energy was stored in your pores, transforming into spirit. When all 108 Aku points were cleared, the cultivator would step into the blood ignition realm, followed by the divine force realm. As the name implied, cultivators at the divine force realm had the strength that surpassed mortals. Sun Mo felt like the cultivation realms were the same as learning. Both could grow based on cultivating oneself through the system. No matter what, he was still a postgraduate student. He didn't feel that cultivation would be difficult. Hence, compared to the star moon fruit that could be used to increase his level and realm, he wanted an absolute art more. Don't need to be in a rush. The other items would gradually be unlocked. The tone of the system wasn't fast nor slow. Is there something like the art of 9 negations? How about the 6 meridians divine sword? Sun Mo was a cultured youth. Usually, he would be reading novels on his phone in his idle time. When he had the feeling, he would even write some stories himself. No, the system was as calm as ever. But there are better absolute arts than that. Sun Mo and the system were squabbling, neglecting Li Ziki at the side. However, she wasn't impatient and was staring at Sun Mo in interest. He is quite good looking. Li Ziki bit her lips. Usually, people would always smile after looking at her. They would use all sorts of topics, trying to compliment her. But this young man didn't even glance at her directly. Ding. Favorable impression from Li Ziki +1. Prestige connection with Li Ziki. Current state, neutral. 5/100ths. Don't be nervous, I won't bite. Sun Mo squeezed out a smile, feeling puzzled in his heart. Why did her favorable impression of him increase? According to the system's explanation, he thought that he needed to provide teachings and guidance before the target's favorable impression of him would increase. That's a great teacher's words and actions. The way they sit and walk can be considered role models. Your demeanor can also stir the hearts of students, causing them to generate respect and worship. The system's explanation was very detailed. It felt a little like a caring older sister. What is a prestige connection then? Sun Mo asked. Host's level is too low, unable to reveal the information. The system rejected him. Sun Mo continued to explore the system's functions as he felt his headache growing increasingly painful. When he first arrived, the memories in his brain were in chaos. Also, because he went into the water to save someone earlier, he expended quite a large amount of strength. He was incomparably weary and soon fell asleep involuntarily. A frog jumped onto Sun Mo's face without any regard for him. After leaving 2 wet prints, it leapt off again. The dream last night was so long, but that girl was quite beautiful. The slightly cool dewdrops wetted his body, making him extremely uncomfortable. Sun Mo casually wiped his face, and when he turned, he directly knocked his head into a locust tree next to him. Bang! The sensation of pain drifted over. It wasn't a dream. Sun Mo rubbed his forehead and searched for Li Ziki. However, at the bonfire that was already extinguished, there was no one at all. Even so, there was a pink color handkerchief tied around his left wrist. 10 days later, see you at the student recruitment meet. The beautiful-looking words exuded the gentle aura of a girl from a wealthy family. When Sun Mo thought of his terrible situation, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. If he was to let this girl know that he was just a logistics staff, wouldn't her disappointment shoot through the roof? He went to the lake's side to wash his face first. This face of his was 80% similar to him in his previous world, but it was slightly more good-looking with a few hints of delicateness and immaturity to be seen. On his countenance, no confidence was emitted, there was only trepidation. No way. Sun Mo was very satisfied. Everyone wanted to be more good-looking. In his past world, his handsome face had added some impression points for him before the vice headmaster. After all, there would always be more opportunities for good-looking people. The Jinling city was the ancient capital of the 6 dynasties. Although its bricks and tiles were covered with moss, the city had a rich historical background. He walked to the end of Hongwu Street, which was the location of the Central Province Academy. A majestic and gigantic stone gate exuded a feeling of tyranny and solemnness as it stood there. Sun Mo rushed back based on his memories. It was already close to noon. "Where did you go?" Mr. Qin, who was guarding the gate, immediately stretched his head out when he saw Sun Mo. Sun Mo nodded and then quickly entered the campus. "Li Gong wanted you to go to the logistics department and look for him straight." Mr. Qin had a very loud voice. No matter how he listened, Sun Mo could hear a gloating tone over his misfortune in his voice. The passing students also began to mumble to themselves as they pointed at Sun Mo. He was probably the most famous person in the school now. It was just that rather than fame, it was infamy. After he went up the office building and pushed open the logistics department door, a smell of cigarette smoke assailed his nose. Sun Mo hadn't seen anyone yet, but a scolding voice already rang out. "Where have you gone to? Do you know that during lesson times, you are not allowed to leave the campus for no reason? Do you think you are a great teacher?" A middle-aged man sitting at the corner stood up and limped over. He pointed at Sun Mo and began cursing at him. "He isn't a teacher, but he is the fiancé of the headmaster. So what even if he skipped work? Do you dare to interfere?" A taunting voice that was exceptionally ear-piercing rang out. Sun Mo swept his gaze over. This voice belonged to a short-haired middle-aged man. He had a teapot in his right hand and would occasionally throw a few taunts over. Sun Mo remembered that this man was named Liu Tong. "I don't care whose fiancé you are. If there's a next time, you will immediately be fired." Li Gong scolded and his tone was filled with violent anger. "Now, scram and go clean up the storehouses. I will do a check tomorrow morning." Sun Mo then retreated. "Wait a minute. Your salary for this month will be reduced by half," Li Gong added. After that, he impatiently waved his hand like he was trying to chase a fly away. "You guys bully him so much. What if this brat really resigns?" Chen Mu, who had a head full of white hair, felt some worry. He was afraid that they might be implicated. "I heard that headmaster and personally wrote a letter of appointment to hire him." "Oi, he is just someone who lives behind a woman's backing. What are you afraid of?" Li Gong was filled with disdain. In any case, if the headmaster came down on them, there would be people above the headmaster protecting them. Besides, the faster Sun Mo was fired, the quicker he would be promoted. After an intern came to the school, they would be assigned to an experienced teacher. They would start from a teaching assistant and learn from the teacher. However, Sun Mo's situation was terrible. He was assigned to Li Gong. Li Gong wasn't a teacher. He was a foreman in the logistics department, and he did odd jobs for the school like repairing the tables and chairs. Basically, those with judgment could already tell that the chance of Sun Mo becoming a teacher wasn't great. HMPH, with me around, forget about being a great teacher. He won't even be able to be a teacher in his life. If my mood is good, I can still teach him woodwork. At the very least, he would be able to fill his stomach. Li Gong drank a mouthful of tea and had a complacent look on his face. To him, he didn't have many chances to fix intern teachers. Chen Mu opened his mouth, but he swallowed back the words he was about to speak. Forget it, he didn't want to interfere. Currently, many worrying matters were affecting the school, bringing plenty of troubles. It was best for him to protect himself and idle away while receiving his salary. Standing in the corridor, Sun Mo's expression was gloomy. He was never a person to turn the other cheek after being slapped. If it wasn't for him still not being familiar with this body and not understanding the concept of spirit chi, he would have definitely sent a punch over and taught the lame Li Gong why the flowers were red. "Li Gong, I'll let you boss around for now." Sun Mo made a note about this lame cripple in the notebook of his heart. Also that fiancée of mine? She seemed to be very fickle with this relationship. 3 years ago, the old headmaster of the Central Province Academy had failed to obtain the laurel of a saint. Although he didn't die, he was still unconscious now. His son wasn't filial and had escaped his responsibility. Thus, his granddaughter Anxin Hui had no choice but to step up temporarily and bear the headmaster's role. Anxin Hui had peerless looks and a pure heart. She had graduated from the Heavenly Mystery Academy of Cloud Province. That academy was different from this famous school that had long since fallen to the D grade. It was one of the 9 top famous schools in the world. Even in the Heavenly Mystery Academy of Cloud Province, Anxin Hui was still the cream of the crop and had obtained an outstanding reputation. During her first year, She had already made her way into the devastatingly beauty rankings. However, being a headmaster and a student was two different things. In these 3 years, Xin worked her heart out but was still unable to prevent the Central Province Academy's decline. After Sun Mo arrived at the school, he merely saw Xin from afar during a meeting. In fact, they didn't even have any private communication. His past self had come to the Central Province Academy after graduation because he wanted to help this fiancée of his who was childhood sweethearts with him. His goal was to let the Central Province Academy return to the top 9 famous schools in the world. However, all of a sudden, people started labeling him as a soft rice guy. Also, he was tossed into the logistics department. Leaving aside getting a good position, he didn't even manage to become a normal teaching assistant. As a soft rice guy, didn't I lose out too much? Sun Mo was speechless. Ding, new mission available. Please become a teaching assistant in 1 month. Reward, 1 silver chest. The system's voice rang out with no prior signs. Note, Art of 9 Negations and 6 Meridians Divine Sword are both ultimate level martial arts in Jin Yong novels. Soft rice guy, a guy that lived off a woman. Chapter 3. Divine Sight. Sun Mo wanted to curse. Becoming a teaching assistant? How could things be so easy? Right now, his job at the logistics department was insecure. No matter what, he had been a teacher in charge for 6 years and had experienced office politics before. If there was no one instructing Li Gong to do this, a logistics supervisor like him wouldn't constantly target Sun Mo without any benefits. Unless, of course, he was so idle that his balls hurt. So someone is hiding in the shadows, targeting me. I will find out who you are and chase you out of the school. Sun Mo vowed. After heading down, his expression returned to normal. The old headmaster had once said that even if one was so frantic that their heart chilled, they must not allow anyone to see it from their external expressions. After passing by the martial lecture hall, he continued forward and walked through the field. He then saw a stretch of storerooms northwest from here. These storehouses were used to store junk. Sun Mo walked for a bit and knew that Li Gong was purposely making things difficult for him. These storerooms were in a state of half-broken for many years. Rust mottled their doors. Clearly, it had been a very long time since anyone had used them. He casually chose a storehouse and opened the door. The smell of dust particles lying on molded timber assaulted his nostrils. Clean up everything by tomorrow morning? It's impossible even if the time limit was a week. Sun Mo rubbed his nose. There was no need to ask. He would definitely be cursed by Li Gong tomorrow morning. He casually picked a few items up. They were either damaged tables or tattered sofas. He would occasionally see a few rusted arrows on the ground too. Sun Mo instantly lost all interest in tidying this place up. He found a table designed for the game of Go and casually wiped it twice before sitting on it. As he basked in the sun's rays, he began to analyze the divine sight spell he had obtained from the absolute great teacher system yesterday. When the user focuses his attention at the target, the user will be able to see each and every detail of the target. The targets include but aren't limited to humans, animals, cultivation arts, and items. However, it had the best effect on humans. Note, the higher your proficiency, the more details you would be able to see. The system gave him a timely reminder. Even cultivation arts and items can be seen through. This is awesome then. Sun Mo was shocked. Even an ordinary teacher would understand how powerful this spell was even if they used their knees to think. What did a teacher need the most? It was naturally a comprehensive understanding of each student. Now, he would be able to read their data, as well as their potential value just by focusing on them. How terrifying was this? The system didn't reply, but Sun Mo could fantasize silently. If the system had a face, it would definitely have a reserved yet filled with superiority smile. The Grand Master grade is the proficiency index, right? Sun Mo speculated. That's right, the proficiency index is a unique method of the absolute great teacher system to evaluate the standards and grades of skills and techniques. The system acted like a caring elder sister. Proficiency index can be categorized as elementary, good, expert, grandmaster, ancestor, and legend grade. His divine sight was now at the elementary grade. The amount of details he can obtain is just barely satisfactory. At the good grade, it would automatically show more basic data of the target. At the expert grade, he would then be able to see the target's potential value. And at the Grandmaster grade, Divine Sight would show the target's strength, weaknesses, talent, recent body condition, etc. In any case, the data obtained would be extremely thorough and detailed. Haha, getting a Grandmaster grade Divine Sight spell. The newbie gift pack is truly generous. After reading the detailed introduction, Sun Mo had a wide smile on his face. He looked like a fox that had succeeded in stealing grapes from an orchard. That's only natural. If you completely master the Grandmaster grade Divine Sight, even if it was a young girl who got hemorrhoids, she wouldn't be able to hide it from your eyes. The system was complacent. How do I level it up to the Ancestor grade? Sun Mo licked his lips and impatiently focused his sight as he stared at the junk in his surroundings. A desk, made from poplar wood. Damage degree over 70%, impossible to repair. Rusted arrow, during creation, the intensity of the fire wasn't high enough. This is considered an inferior product. Wall, constructed using stone materials from Human Mountain. The creator put in a lot of effort when grinding it. It can be reused. Before Sun Mo's eyes, dense streams of data instantly floated up, almost causing him to be blinded. However, he couldn't bear to close his eyes. The feeling of instantly getting the data was too satisfying. It was like anything before. His eyes would transform into beauties who took off all their clothes, allowing him to view everything about them. Truly a panoramic view. Sun Mo continued turning his head. He glanced at an abandoned book, a torn and tattered love letter, and paint sprayed on a wall by teenagers who just experienced their first awakening of love 2 days ago. The system didn't reply, but Sun Mo didn't care. He was having fun playing. After looking through everything in the storeroom, he turned his attention to the next storeroom. Suddenly, a stream of red words appeared among the complicated data. Wooden blade, made of black sandalwood. A great master in smithing spent a total of 3 years of his efforts to create this weapon in the Liang province. This timber's quality is tough and unyielding, comparable to steel. It would also emit a weak fragrance that could persist for tens of years. It has the miraculous effect of calming one's mind and heart and dispelling nightmares. This was a spirit weapon and would definitely cost a lot. However, what caused Sun Mo to feel shocked was the description written in red. On this wooden blade, the Grand Universe Formless Divine Art is inscribed. It's a Peerless grade Sentier product. Is this real or not? Sun Mo found this a little hard to believe. Through the memories he got after fusing with this body, he knew that the cultivation arts in Middle-earth were divided into 3 tiers: Saint, Heaven, and Earth. Each tier was further divided into inferior, average, superior, and peerless grades. Peerless grade Sentier cultivation art was considered a pinnacle cultivation art in Middle-earth. Such a powerful art was engraved onto a wooden blade. Sun Mo immediately checked it. On the handle, tiny words like flies were carved in flamboyant calligraphy. The words were extremely graceful and elegant. From this, one could tell that the writer had very high attainments in calligraphy. It's night. The dark clouds are lowered. I fought against my good friend in chess for 3 months plus and have not suffered a single defeat. Due to my joyous mood, I hereby carve the formless divine art onto the wooden blade and bequeath it to a fated person. Sun Mo was speechless. From the words, he could tell that the writer was a passionate person. If it was him in the writer's stead, he would also be so happy that he would head to a KTV to sing until the place exploded. What Sun Mo didn't know was that the unlucky person who had lost throughout the 3 months went into seclusion for 3 years after that event. After he exited seclusion, he continuously defeated tens of national experts from countless countries in the 9 provinces. Everyone then gave him the title of Chess Saint. He had not lost a single chess battle from then on until now. After reading carefully, Sun Mo exclaimed loudly, "Beautiful!" Leaving aside how good the divine art was, just the words alone were sufficient for him to take it out and admire it once every day. Although Sun Mo had already fused with the memories of this body and understood the concept of spirit chi and some basic cultivation methods, he didn't hastily cultivate the Grand Universe Formless Divine Art. He locked the storeroom door and went to the library to check on some information. wanting to understand this country in detail first. This was something Sun Mo had planned to do since the beginning. As a man who loved to plan and react, Sun Mo's good luck wasn't the only thing that secured him the position of a teacher in charge not long after he graduated. The library of the Central Province Academy was very large. There were also many people. However, the atmosphere was so quiet that one could hear if a pin dropped. Every student would do their utmost to lighten their footsteps even if they were walking. The mood of learning is excellent. Sun Mo stood before some wooden bookshelves and stared at these students who seemed as though they just came out from ancient era dramas. When he inhaled deeply, he could smell a mixture of ink and incense. Reading history was undoubtedly the shortcut to understanding a country and its people. There were 9 provinces on Middle-earth, namely, Liang Province, Xia Province, Barbarian Province, Jing Province, Central Province, Serene Province, Cloud Province, and Sea Province. Sun Mo was part of the Tang people in Central Province. He was now living in Jinling, a place that was close to China's ancient eras. There were emperors and concubines, subjects and generals, and also bandits and refugees. However, the greatest difference was that this world was filled with dense amounts of spirit qi. Breathing spirit qi in and out could strengthen one's physique. Hence, cultivators were born. The weak ones had punching strength reaching 500 kilograms, and they could break stone and iron easily. The strong ones could even shift mountains and overturn seas, including summoning the wind and rain. Who didn't wish to be immune to 100 diseases or have a longevity of 1,000 years? Hence, during this golden period, these cultivation academies were growing like the spring bamboo after the rain, popping up one after another. Each province had a peak-level academy. The Central Province Academy had once been the top-ranked academy in Central Province, and this was why it managed to have the words Central Province in its name, indicating the school's glory and honor. However, right now, it had fallen from one of the top 9 ranks to the D grade. If it wasn't able to pass the league tournament at the end of the year, it would be removed from the system and forced to become an abandoned school. Sigh. So tragic. Sun Mo also felt a headache for his fiancée whom he hadn't met yet. Returned to the top 9 rankings. This was basically an impossible mission. There were several manuals of cultivation arts in the library, and the students could flip through them casually. The cultivation art that the past Sun Mo had practiced was the Overflow Rain Sword, and it could also be found here. This art was extremely common and its might was ordinary. There were much fewer Heaven Tier and Zero Saint Tier cultivation arts in the world. Hence, Sun Mo treated the Grand Universe Formless Divine Art he had obtained by chance as a supreme treasure. He began to seriously read it. This cultivation art could be split into 9 levels. The essence was using the formless to triumph over the myriad manifestations and the shapeless to win against the myriad of shapes. Simply speaking, it could copy all types of moves from the opponents and was able to produce a stronger level of might than them. As a teacher, Sun Mo was very sensitive toward words like copy. But this cultivation art could be used to feed moves to students. Regardless of doing questions, playing chess, or battling, the more opponents he encountered, the more experience he would gain. If he did focused training in one of those areas, he would have already won 30% of the fight before they even fought. If my student is going to face an enemy, I can feed the moves of his enemy to them. Wouldn't that be equivalent to winning? Sun Mo was unable to restrain a smile. It seemed that he was truly fated with the teaching job. As this place was a school, the person who had left behind the Grand Universe Formless Divine Art should be an extremely famous great teacher with high prestige. Thanks. Sun Mo expressed his gratitude softly. He had initially been worrying about his livelihood. But with this cultivation art, leaving aside an ordinary school, even if he was here in Central Province Academy, he was confident that he would stand out among his peers. He then stretched his body before leaning against a chair, becoming a teaching assistant in a month. I will accomplish that for you in half a month. Sun Mo was currently feeling a little arrogant. However, his happiness soon turned into sadness. As you wish. The voice of the system rang out. This time, the tone wasn't like a caring elder sister, but rather like the evil stepmom that abused Cinderella. Ding! The duration of the mission has changed. Please become a teaching assistant in half a month. If you fail, there will be severe punishment. Huh? Sun Mo wanted to cry but no tears were coming out. I was just speaking randomly. You wouldn't take my words for real, right? Swish. A flash of golden light suddenly spread throughout the library. Sun Mo's mind was fatigued from checking the information all morning. But now, he instantly felt refreshed and inspired. It was like he had just been injected with stimulants. A great teacher halo. Some students exclaimed in shock. Chapter 4. Great Teacher Halo. A 20-year-old young man entered the reading zone, and many students in the surroundings immediately stood up as they bowed and greeted him. Teaching Assistant Kin. On Middle-earth, the academic atmosphere was flourishing, and a good system where students were taught to respect their teachers was ingrained in everyone. Moreover, Teaching Assistant Kin was even displaying a wide learning and retentive memory halo, causing everyone's learning efficiency to double. Just based on this reason, it was normal for all the students to greet him. Gin Fen was dressed in blue-color robes that represented the identity of a teaching assistant. He had a smile on his face as he pressed his hands in a downward motion, indicating the students to continue with their learning. Teaching Assistant Kin's great teacher halo is so large. It seems that he is about to be converted into a substitute teacher. Are your words not superfluous? He is a graduate of Jixia Learning Palace of Xia Province. That's one of the 9 great schools. I heard that our school has only recruited 3 graduates from the famous schools this year. How miserable. Whispers began to ring out from the surroundings. The status of a graduate from a famous school would always gain the recognition of everyone. The reason why the hearts of the students were filled with respect was also largely due to the 3 words Jixia Learning Palace. The corner of Sun Mo's lips curled. On Middle-earth, if one wanted to become a teacher, it wasn't easy. They first had to gain enlightenment and produce a great teacher halo. This depended on the teacher's individual talent. It could allow the students to produce twice the results with half the effort when it came to studies. For example, after the wide learning and retentive memory halo was used, the students would enter a state of having wide learning and a retentive memory. In this period, their memory would be strengthened, and their comprehension ability would be elevated, allowing their studying efficiency to be boosted several times. One wouldn't be able to gain a great teacher halo from postnatal learning efforts. They could only depend on gaining enlightenment before they could obtain one. Hence, the number of great teachers on Middle-earth was not a lot. If one wanted to become a teacher, the first barrier was to gain enlightenment and obtain a self-taught halo before they were 18 years old. One must know that enlightenment was a miraculous state that was extremely rare and abstruse. The probability of one having it was akin to finding someone in a crowd of millions. Gaining enlightenment of the self-taught halo represented that there were no problems with your intelligence. You could also cultivate and comprehend true intent even without the guidance of a teacher. At the same time, with the self-taught halo, your chance of gaining enlightenment would be elevated. Throughout your teaching career, you might be able to obtain a new great teacher halo. If you wanted to gauge how outstanding a teacher was, you could just take a look at the number of their great teacher halos. The levels of great teachers were gauged by stars. Other than the self-taught halo, if one obtained another 3 great teacher halos and was also proficient in a secondary occupation, that person would be a 1-star great teacher. Star great teachers were the pinnacle. They were also known as secondary saints. I'm not even a teaching assistant. Sun Mo ridiculed himself. The status and respect a great teacher could get in the society wasn't something an ordinary teacher could compare to. After gaining enlightenment of the self-taught halo at the age of 16, the Sun Mo of the past hadn't acquired any other halos until yesterday when he was drowned. From this, one could see how difficult it was. Speaking of which, the Sun Mo of this world had gone to the outskirts to relax and he simply wanted to swim a bit because he was bored. In the end, this caused Li Ziqi to misunderstand that he was committing suicide. Li Ziqi jumped into the water to save him. In the end, the Sun Mo of this world had drowned to death in order to save Li Ziqi. This also caused him, Sun Mo of the other world, to have the opportunity to cross over to this world. AI, you are really a good person. Sun Mo sighed. That priceless advice halo was something the Sun Mo of this world had comprehended before his death. He didn't even get to use it once and had benefited Sun Mo of the other world. The learning atmosphere in the Central Province Academy was very rich. For the library, other than every morning when it was temporarily closed for half an hour for the sake of cleaning, it would be open every day of the year. Ding! Midnight passed. The lucky treasure chest is refreshed. As the system's reminder rang out, a red-colored chest with a gigantic word fortune imprinted on it appeared before Sun Mo. What the hell? Sun Mo glanced at it. Although it was already late at night, there were still many students immersing themselves in learning. Every day after midnight, the host will get a chance to draw a prize. The system continued. If you find this troublesome, you can store the treasure chests first and choose a good date before opening them all. Will the chance of getting a rare prize be higher if I burn incense, take a bath, kowtow, and offer my worship to the heavens? For someone as unlucky as him, he could only use some metaphysics methods to increase his chances of getting a good prize. For example, the simplest 10 draws at one go. The system didn't reply. Clearly, it didn't wish to answer such a retarded question. What are you waiting for? Open it. With a treasure chest before his eyes, who would be able to control their excitement? There were no cool effects. The treasure chest popped open and a tiny clump of soil appeared before his eyes. What is this? Sun Mo was happy. Could it be he was about to become extremely lucky? Just a clump of soil. It is considered a consolation prize to encourage you to try again next time. What kind of shitty values do you have? Do you think I will treat a clump of soil, which I received from a reward, like a precious meal coupon? In Sun Mo's heart, he wanted to curse at the system's mother. If the prize was really a food coupon, even if it was just a 20% discount, it could allow him to have an egg in his breakfast, and he would be happy for it. The system fell silent. Other than to provide the necessary explanation, it wouldn't accompany the host to talk nonsense. Thinking of food made Sun Mo feel a little hungry. Hence, he went back to his dorm room. The lodging of intern teachers was arranged by the school, and it wasn't far from the student zone. They could stay for 3 months without charge. Before this, the intern teachers used to be able to stay for a year, and if they ate their 3 meals in the canteen, the meals would be free. However, the financial situation of the Central Province Academy was very bad now. Hence, all these benefits were either removed or reduced. It was said that even with some of the New Year's benefits, the conditions became much more inferior. For this, the teachers were grumbling privately. The dormitory building was constructed near a lake. It was a small building of 5 levels. Sun Mo stayed on the 3rd level of the eastern side. When he returned, the 3 dorm mates of his hadn't fallen asleep yet. Zhang Sheng, who was sitting on his bed and meditating, opened his eyes and looked at Sun Mo, who pushed the door open. He closed his eyes again as a smile of disdain appeared on his lips. "Yo, you are back." Lu Dai, a burly and muscular youth who seemed more like a blacksmith than a teacher, smiled. In passing, he lifted the teapot at the side. "Do you want something to drink?" "No need, thanks." When Sun Mo sat on his bed, memories of his 3 roommates were also recalled. Every one of them graduated from the Zhongzhou Academy. Zhang Sheng's personality was arrogant, but his strength wasn't weak. He was the most confident of them all. As for Lu Dai, he would always smile no matter who he was talking to. His attitude was humble. And for the last one, a young man with frog-like eyes. His name was Yuan Feng. "Did your fiancée tell you any news through the grapevine? Come and share with us." Yuan Feng spoke. His voice was thin and sounded somewhat ear-piercing. Sun Mo furrowed his brows slightly. When they had first arrived in the Central Province Academy, after knowing Headmaster and Xin Hui was his fiancée, Yuan Feng had been very ardent and wanted to please him. He had even treated him to a meal before. However, as the others became teaching assistants while Sun Mo was tossed into the logistics department, Yuan Feng's attitude rapidly changed. This sentence was filled with mocking intent and was roughly inquiring about non-public information. "Oh yes, you haven't returned the money from our last meal. When will you be returning it?" Yuan Feng didn't have any intention to spare Sun Mo. Jinling City is bustling and prosperous. It isn't easy to stay here for the long term. If the school hires me, I still have to rent a house, and it will be another large amount of expense. Pack. A cloth of silver was tossed to Yuan Feng's bed. Yuan Feng's eyes brightened. He hurriedly grabbed it and tested its genuineness by biting it. Sun Mo checked his possessions. Other than 3 sets of clothes, 2 pairs of cloth shoes, a few novels, and a money pouch with some fragments of silver, he had nothing else. The cloth shoes were something his mother personally sewn for him. The stitches were very close together. Your wooden blade isn't bad. Where did you buy it? Lu Dai sniffed and turned his gaze onto the wooden blade made from black sandalwood. It was unknown whether it was his illusion or not, but he could sense a faint sense of fragrance entering his nostrils. I picked it up. Sun Mo's words were simple and concise. This blade was created after a blacksmith in Liang province had spent 3 years of effort on it. Even if it was abandoned in the storehouse for over 10 years collecting dust, the fragrance of the wood remained somewhat. I will give you 100 taels of silver. Sell it to me, said Jiang Sheng. Jiang Sheng's father was a landlord, and his family owned good agricultural land and many fields. He didn't lack money. Even if you give me 1,000,000 taels of gold, I won't sell it. Sun Mo was a little unhappy. Jiang Sheng's tone was extremely arrogant, like he was asking for a beating. HMPH, you dumb fool. You lost out on a chance of striking it rich. Jiang Sheng closed his eyes. He was only curious for a while and felt that the wooden blade wasn't bad. But even if Sun Mo changed his mind and agreed to the 100 taels of silver now, he wouldn't agree. Sun Mo's lips twitched. If I told you that the grand universe formless divine art is engraved on this wooden blade, even if you sell your as whole, you won't be able to afford this. A peerless grade sentier cultivation art, let alone 1,000,000 taels of gold, even if it was changed to 1,000,000 spirit stones, Sun Mo wouldn't sell it. How's the work in the logistics department? Is it tiring? In any case, being a teaching assistant is really tiring. I feel like sleeping the moment I return, said Yuan Feng. When we ate together previously, we spent a total of 30 plus coins. Just consider that I treat you then. Pay me back the excess. Sun Mo spoke to Yuan Feng. Sun Mo didn't intend to suffer this disadvantage. A tael of silver was worth 100 coins. I don't have spare change now. I will return the money to you a few days later. Yuan Feng made an excuse while coldly mocking Sun Mo in his heart. Because Sun Mo was Xin Huai's fiancée, many people were unhappy with him, feeling that he was a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. Hence, they were looking for an opportunity to prank him. He wouldn't be able to hold on to his job in the logistics department for long, let alone being a teaching assistant. If he delayed a few days more and waited for Sun Mo to be fired, he wouldn't need to pay back the 70 coins. Pack. Sun Mo took 2 steps forward and arrived before Yuan Feng's bed. His hand hoisted Yuan Feng's clothes and pulled him up. Pay me, now. Sun Mo stared at Yuan Feng. His tone was icily cold. Not only was Yuan Feng and Lu Di stunned, but even Jiang Sheng at the sight had a face full of astonishment. Why did Sun Mo, who had a kind and gentle personality, suddenly flip out? Release me. Yuan Feng recovered from his shock and felt extremely angered. He had long since made some inquiries and knew that Sun Mo had just entered the blood ignition realm recently. Sun Mo was a level lower than him and would definitely not be his opponent. Don't fight. Lu Dai was shocked. He hurriedly rushed over and tried to stand between them. Get out of the way. Yuan Feng wasn't going to accept this. Now, it is still the intern period. What if both of you are fired because of fighting? If Lu Dai wasn't afraid of being implicated, he would cheer them on to fight. After all, if 2 people were fired, he would have 2 fewer competitors. No, just 1 competitor less. Sun Mo was trash. It was basically confirmed that he wouldn't be able to stay here any longer. If you want to fight, scram outside and do it. Jiang Sheng's expression turned heavy. He was also worried about the consequences. Pack. Sun Mo stretched his hand and grabbed the tael of silver in Yuan Feng's handbag. Oh, come look for me when you have the spare change then. Do you really think you will be able to marry Headmaster Xin Huai? Yuan Feng mocked. Let me tell you this, you won't be able to eat the soft rice you are planning to. Oh, is that so? Even so, I'm still better than someone like you who doesn't even qualify to eat soft rice. Sun Mo's lips twitched as he revealed a smile. It was as though the sunlight of spring cascaded down on him. His white teeth were so dazzling that it would cause one to feel dizzy. This fellow has such a poisonous tongue. Ludai mused silently. How infuriating are these words? Are you simply impressive because you are handsome? Yuan Feng was so angered that his heart thumped violently. His face looked even more like a frog now. His fist was clenched tightly as he glared at Sun Mo's face. Note: eating soft rice means a grown man depending on a woman for survival. Chapter 5. It's incorrect to cultivate like that. The fight eventually didn't happen. Sun Mo took the money and went out to look for food. Although a conflict had just occurred, his inner heart was calm. This was because he was confident that as long as Yuan Feng had some brains, he would endure it. Even if he wasn't able to endure it, the two other roommates would stop him. Leaving aside the fact that one couldn't break the school rules during the internship period or they would be fired, he was now already targeted by malicious people. They were just waiting for him to commit a mistake before firing him. If Yuan Feng attacked, he would be out of luck together. Naturally, if a fight broke out, Sun Mo wasn't scared either. I still have to quickly research about spirit chi and succeed in training my grand universe formless divine art. If a conflict occurs again, who would still be quarreling? I will directly explode their dog heads. For a conflict of this level, Sun Mo might seem extremely agitated and wanted to fight the moment they quarreled. However, his heart was extremely calm. He had long since considered all the situations that would happen and how to handle them. Yuan Feng's eyes were protruding. He felt extremely disgruntled and smashed his fist against a wall. The day he is sacked will be the day I'll buy 100 firecrackers to set off, sending him off respectfully. Yuan Feng gritted his teeth. That fellow is done for sure. Why do you have to lower yourself to his level? Ludai consoled. From his point of view, there was basically no hope for Sun Mo to join the faculty. As Yuan Feng had a high possibility of being his future colleague, he would naturally stand on Yuan Feng's side. The campus under the starlight had a different feel to it. The night wind gusted as Sun Mo took a night walk, pondering over the matters of him and his fiancée. Although Xin Hui was older than him by 3 years, the two of them were childhood sweethearts. As Xin Hui grew older, her shocking talent was also displayed and she eventually chose to join the Heavenly Mystery Academy of Cloud Province. Also, her fame began to spread when she was just a freshman. On the contrary, Sun Mo's aptitude was far inferior. He was only slightly stronger than ordinary people. He could only depend on his hard work and barely managed to join the Zhongzhou Academy. Sun Mo knew that he wasn't worthy of Xin Hui. He also didn't take the joking words of the old headmaster to heart. But who knew that a few days before he graduated, Xin Hui suddenly sent a personally written letter of appointment and marriage contract to him. Other than hiring him to be an intern in the Central Province Academy, she also hoped that they could finalize their marriage as soon as possible. Xin Hui was very beautiful, and she was Sun Mo's first love. Hence, the moment he graduated, he packed up and came over quickly. In the end, he was targeted everywhere and chased into the logistics department. My old self is so stupid. There are definitely some ulterior motives behind all this. Sun Mo was speechless. He also understood why the old Sun Mo would head to the outskirts to relax. This feeling was like when one was waiting to eat a sumptuous lobster meal and found out that they could only eat shit. What should I do then? Sun Mo most probably wouldn't be able to return. Besides, he had the 2 missions the absolute teacher system had given him. It seemed that he could only continue being a teacher. Luckily, he had 6 years of experience being a teacher in charge and he also possessed the divine sight now. With them, there shouldn't be a problem for him to establish a foothold in the Central Province Academy. However, Sun Mo seemed to have forgotten that the things taught here weren't foreign languages, physics, or chemistry. It was martial arts, spirit rune words, herbology, astrology, etc. I wonder how's the salary is like. Would the pay be the same even if one worked for 5 years straight? When he thought about the terrifying rental, Sun Mo suddenly panicked. The rental prices of Jinling City wouldn't be so high as to cause people to commit suicide. right? The sorrowless lake of the Central Province Academy was a famous scenery spot in Jinling City. Under the silver moonlight, it looked even more beautiful. Sun Mo suddenly heard a slight noise coming from the forest of his right when he was walking. He hesitated and eventually decided to enter. In the sparse forest, there was a half-naked youth currently practicing his fist techniques. His cotton pants were drenched with sweat and were rolled up. He was wearing a pair of cloth shoes. Sweat trickled down his back. As he executed the military fist technique, his beads of sweat also scattered through the air from the impact. Sun Mo had the impulse to whistle in admiration. The figure of this youth was really good. Although he wasn't tall, there were no signs of any excess flesh on his body. The contours of his muscles were clear, and his physique was robust. The sight of this youth caused Sun Mo to recall the powerful slender figure of Bruce Lee. Bang, bang, bang. The gusts of wind from his punches broke the air, creating low booming sounds. The young man was very focused. He attempted to execute each of his punches perfectly. He didn't bother to glance at Sun Mo, a stranger who suddenly arrived. Sun Mo crossed his arms and leaned against a maple tree at the side as he watched. His divine sight was activated. 1 meter above the young man's head, 3 words floated out. Qi Shengjie. This name isn't bad. Sun Mo praised silently. After that, streams of data floated out from other parts of his body. Strength, 8. He's considered outstanding among peers. It isn't a problem for him to kill a bull with his fists. Intellect, 4. A little wooden, slow thinking, and slow of speech. He only knows how to train diligently. Agility, 6. Ordinary standard. Will, 3. Can reach 7 points at its peak. It isn't normal for such a young man to have this temperament. Will. Compared to Li Ziqi, this Qi Shengjie's data had an additional will stat. There were also red words describing it. Recently encountered a setback. His will is gradually weakening. This absolute great teacher system is truly personalized. It even knows how to add a note of importance in red. Sun Mo's lips twitched. In his mind, he asked the system, what is the normal standard of an ordinary male adult's intellect? 5. The system's reply was concise and comprehensive, as though if it said an extra word, it would get tired to death. Doesn't that mean this Qi Shengjie is a little dumb? Sun Mo was speechless. The system's reply was too simple. However, given Sun Mo's intellect, he understood that each respective stat of an ordinary person was 5. The system didn't have the obligation to chat with him. Endurance, 7. Strength eruption, 6. Not bad. Sun Mo thought of Li Ziqi. That beautiful girl's intellect was 10. And so her potential value was extremely high. Although she was a klutz, the system still recommended him to take her as a disciple. As for this person, after Sun Mo found his potential value data, which was hovering at the side of his right leg, he involuntarily shook his head. Potential value, extremely low. Even if Sun Mo didn't know the average potential value of ordinary people, when he saw the words extremely below average, he knew that this guy had no future. Age, 15, realm, 3rd level of body refinement realm. When Sun Mo saw this, he frowned. After reading for a day in the library, he had understood the Tao of cultivation. The beginning realm of the Tao of cultivation was the body refinement realm. It meant to use cultivation-type martial arts, tonic food, and medicinal baths to strengthen one's physique. The body was a human's origin. As long as one's body was strong enough, they wouldn't need to fear illnesses and could survive even with a myriad of wounds. Only by living would they be able to climb to an even higher realm. Simply put, if the death of a person was equivalent to their light snuffing out, the body refinement realm was something that allowed this lamp of light to burn brighter and for an even longer period. It wouldn't be extinguished just from a gust of wind. The body refinement realm had a total of 7 levels. The most notable sign was one's improvement in terms of cultivation realm and strength. Qi Shengjie's realm truly did match the extremely low evaluation of his potential value. Usually, when one was still a child, they wouldn't practice refining their bodies because they weren't fully grown. This was to prevent leaving behind any residual injuries. Hence, they would at most do some simple tempering of their bodies. The majority of their time was spent in learning rune words, the 4 books, the 5 classics, and the 6 arts. In the 9 provinces of Middle-earth, 12 years old cultivators were considered coming of age. At that time, one could gradually start to cultivate and refine their bodies. At 15, normally, one would have reached the 4th or 5th level. Sun Mo didn't feel surprised. The Central Province Academy's students had their uniforms, but Qi Shangjia couldn't bear to wear it for training during the night. If he damaged it, he would have to spend money to purchase a new set. This set of cotton-padded clothes had long since lost its original color, and there were also patches on it. For people from poor families, there was no need to mention anything about eating tonic food or taking medicinal baths. Hence, poor people could only depend on their talent and hard work. Qi Shangjia's actions were somewhat awkward. Being observed by Sun Mo caused him to feel a little uneasy. Hence, he might as well choose to take a break. He walked to his clothes, which were on the floor, and picked up a bottle of water to drink a few mouthfuls. Stop training. Sun Mo spoke. Amen. Qi Shangjia turned his head and stared at Sun Mo with puzzlement. Evidently, this person was talking to him. As a teacher, Sun Mo still admired hardworking students like him. Gurgle. Qi Shangjia drank his water. Rubbing the muscles on his arms and thighs, he walked to the empty space ahead and began to practice the Skywolf Fist. The test of the battle hall a week later was his final chance. If he couldn't pass, he would have to return home and be a farmer. If he didn't train hard now, he wouldn't have a chance to train hard in the future. When he thought of this, Qi Shangjia punched out with even more effort. It's incorrect for you to train like this. Sun Mo didn't wish to be a busybody. However, the data showed that the fatigue level of this youth was already very high. Also, many parts of his muscles had suffered slight injuries. Qi Shangjia stopped his movements. Sun Mo didn't know what to say. He also had self-respect. Without first gaining the school's recognition, he wouldn't claim to be an intern teacher. Are you an intern teacher? Qi Shangjia probed. Sun Mo was wearing a blue-colored long robe, and this was something only intern teachers would wear. When he thought of this, he felt a little agitated. As long as an intern teacher could guide him a little, his strength would be able to increase. My name is Sun Mo. Ah, you are Headmaster N's fiancé. When he heard this name, Qi Shangjia subconsciously called out. After that, he widened his eyes and surveyed Sun Mo. Indeed, Sun Mo was born with handsome and exquisite features. His countenance was like jade. The capital he possessed for him to eat soft rice was truly robust and strong. Comparing himself to Sun Mo, he was like a clod of dirt on the road. I said, it's incorrect for you to practice this way. You should hurry back to rest. Sun Mo hated wasting time the most. The fact of him repeating his words for 3 to 4 times caused his tone to become strict. Oh, Qi Shangjia mumbled. But he didn't listen to Sun Mo. Sun Mo furrowed his brows. After that, he gave a self-mocking laugh and turned to leave. The other party didn't believe in his suggestion. He also didn't intend to provide any guidance and merely spoke out because his heart was stirred by how hardworking Qi Shangjia was. Qi Shangjia was indeed doubting Sun Mo, as he was a very hot topic in the school. From Qi Shangjia's point of view, this intern teacher, who couldn't even become a teaching assistant and had to do odd jobs in the logistics departments, would not have a good teaching standard. This matter was an important one that concerned his life. How would Qi Shangjia listen to some random, unreliable guidance? Pay attention to your right arm and left leg. Don't overuse your strength at those parts. Outside the forest, a reminder drifted over. One couldn't help but say that Sun Mo's voice was still quite melodious to the ear. Qi Shangjia involuntarily laughed. His method of practicing bitterly had caused all parts of his body to ache in pain. But other than enduring this, what could he do? In any case, working hard will never be wrong. From Qi Shangjia's simplistic view, he felt that the more effort he put in, the stronger he would become. Chapter 6, Reward. Sun Mo spent another day in the library. The book collections were simply too rich, and they allowed his understanding of the 9 provinces of Middle-earth to become even more detailed. When it was almost midnight, Sun Mo closed the book he was reading and rested for a while, waiting for the notification from the system. Ding! Midnight has passed. The chance to draw one lucky treasure chest is refreshed. The absolute great teacher system caused him to feel joy punctually every midnight. Without much expectation, Sun Mo told the system to open the chest. Unfortunately, there were still no cool effects. The red-colored treasure chest with the word fortune opened up, showing Sun Mo that he got another clump of soil. "Are you asking me to eat soil?" Sun Mo muttered. The system naturally didn't bother to reply. In any case, Sun Mo, who didn't harbor any high hopes, went back to his reading. Time flowed by, and it was only until morning did his stomach tap out, feeling hungry. "Let's go and have a taste of breakfast in Jinling City." Sun Mo stood up, placing a basic outline of pill alchemy back onto the shelf and preparing to leave. But before he walked out of the entrance, he saw Li Gong's limping figure waiting for him there. The school had clear rules that the library was a place students could learn and read. Therefore, maintaining absolute silence was a must. If someone shouted, created a disturbance, or did something that had no relationship with learning here, they would be forcefully evicted and punished. For a year, they wouldn't be allowed to enter the library again. Li Gong naturally didn't dare to berate Sun Mo in the library. Hence, he could only wait at the entrance. Sun Mo halted his steps and stared at Li Gong. Numerous rows of data appeared before his eyes. Sun Mo glanced at these basic data, only looking at those he could use. Very soon, a smile appeared on his lips. "Divine sight is too awesome." Sun Mo sighed silently in admiration. "Stop hiding here, scram out." Seeing that Sun Mo had noticed him and stopped there, Li Gong panicked. He immediately cursed silently. Would this brat be like a cowardly turtle and hide here? He shouldn't have waited at the entrance but hid at some other spots to find a chance and catch Sun Mo. The department head of the logistics department didn't have a good temper. If someone didn't do the thing he had instructed to do, they would definitely be out of luck. Just when Li Gong was contemplating how he should get Sun Mo to leave the library, Sun Mo strode toward him and walked out. He didn't hesitate at all. After being in a daze for a while, Li Gong's expression turned ashen. Was Sun Mo looking down on him? Did Sun Mo feel that because he was an intern teacher, a staff of the logistics department couldn't offend him? HMPH. "I will fix you soon until you become autistic and scram out of this school yourself." Li Gong laughed malevolently and lunged over, preparing to let Sun Mo know how many teeth this old dog had left. "Your leg was crippled 12 years ago." Sun Mo's lips curled into a smile. The first rays of the morning sun cascaded down on his sharply contoured face, adding to his handsomeness. Li Gong had an expression as though he just saw a ghost. He wanted to curse, but all his words were stuck in his throat. Why? Because Sun Mo was right. His leg had been indeed crippled 12 years ago. "Your leg was crippled by the cloud bush palm." Sun Mo was enjoying the shocked look on Li Gong's face. Li Gong gasped in shock. "The cloud bush palm is truly impressive. It took only 3 palm strikes to make your leg lame for over 10 years. It hasn't recovered until now." Sun Mo mocked. "You investigated me?" Li Gong ruthlessly stared at Sun Mo. His expression was as sinister as an infuriated wild dog. Having a crippled leg was the greatest shame of his life. "Investigate you? Are you qualified?" Sun Mo chortled. Li Gong raged, but he regained his senses in the blink of an eye. He was just a small character, so who would care about him? Although one could purchase this information if one went to the black market, how much would someone have to spend? From what Li Gong understood, Sun Mo was extremely poor. Alright then, even if Sun Mo had the money, he had only been in the logistics department for a few days and met him less than 5 times. In such a short time, even if it was the greatest information broker, they wouldn't be able to gather such accurate information. How did he know that my leg was crippled by 3 palm strikes from the cloud bush palm? Li Gong's mind was filled with question marks. One must know that he had never mentioned it to anyone before. Scram! Sun Mo berated. Li Gong's heart wavered. He subconsciously opened up a path, but after that, he felt something was amiss and hurriedly took a big stride forward, blocking Sun Mo. Just when he was about to open his mouth to curse, "There's still hope for recovery for your lame leg." Sun Mo's voice was relaxed. His tone was bright, and it was very melodious. However, to Li Gong, it was like the sound of a thunderclap, jolting him so much that he froze on spot. The word recovery was like a magical spell that kept echoing in his ears. It caused him to feel agitated. It made him timid. It made him hesitate. Scram! Sun Mo's right hand pushed out, slamming into his waist. Li Gong subconsciously retreated 2 steps. His expression was complex as he looked at Sun Mo's departing back. He no longer dared to obstruct Sun Mo. To a man whose leg had been lamed for over 12 years, there was nothing more attractive to him than being able to walk normally again. For this, Li Gong would spare no expense. Is he playing me wrong? Since he could tell that I was injured by the cloud push palm and could even accurately say out the number of palm strikes, he should have a solution, right? Li Gong was conflicted. But he is only an intern teacher. Would he have such good judgment? Ding. Favorable impression from Li Gong +1. The prestige connection with Li Gong is unlocked. Current status, neutral. 1/100th. The notification caused Sun Mo to be bewildered. He had a favorable impression of me just like that. When the host provides a guiding act toward a target, the target will generate feelings of goodwill, intimacy, awe, and worship. After all these factors are combined, a favorable impression would be formed. The system became a caring elder sister again. I understand. Sun Mo accurately said the reason behind Li Gong's lame leg, causing him to feel impressed. Also, he wanted to seek guidance from Sun Mo to ask how he should cure his leg. This was why a favorable impression was generated. Naturally, Li Gong still had a suspicious attitude toward Sun Mo. If not, he wouldn't have generated the lowest number of favorable impression points at one point. Sun Mo glanced at the system's shopping store. He didn't expect that other than the star moon fruit, an emblem that was emitting a dense golden-colored light, could be found here. 10 years time emblem. After using it, it will give you 10 years of experience in a certain skill or technique. Your proficiency level of that skill or technique would be increased by 1 level. Price: 1,000 favorable impression points. Time emblems were good stuff. Sadly, it was so expensive that Sun Mo could only gaze at it from afar. Now, he only had a total of 5 favorable impression points. It seems like I have to think of a method to become a teaching assistant quickly. Sun Mo was planning for the future. Only after becoming a teaching assistant were his chances to interact with students increased. He could then give lectures to guide them and harvest favorable impression points. In the 9 provinces of Middle-earth, there were 100 schools of thought and every kind of study material. Among them, martial arts were the basics. All cultivators were chasing after the extreme pinnacle of the martial Tao, so naturally, great teachers who taught and provided guidance about cultivation would have the most respectable statuses. With the grand universe formless divine art, how would Sun Mo still look up to the overflow rain sword that he used to practice? He directly abandoned that and started his cultivation on the Peerless grade Saint tier cultivation art. Because he had never come in contact with cultivation before, Sun Mo was exceptionally excited. His feelings were like he had just bought a limited edition game and couldn't wait to clear the game on the day itself. Mail building, dorm number 557. Qi Shangjia, who was sleeping under a blanket, opened his eyes. When he saw the strong rays of sunlight already streaming in, he felt a little vexed. He wasted some time again. He pulled the blanket off and wanted to get up from the bed. However, half of his body had no reactions at all. He was dumbstruck for a moment. After that, he felt waves of great terror drowning him in like the ocean waves. Shangjia, it's rare to see you sleeping so late. As he yawned, Wang Hao from the upper bunk jumped down. When he saw Qi Shangjia still lying in bed, he couldn't help being greatly startled. Qi Shangjia was famous for being hardworking. Ever since he joined the school 3 years ago, Qi Shangjia would wake up before dawn and start his practice. Drip, drip. Qi Shangjia bit his lips, and his tears involuntarily flowed, wetting his pillow. AI, how could it be so easy to enter the battle hall? You don't have to feel bad about it, consoled Wang Hao. There were quite a lot of clubs in the school with experienced teachers as consultants. This was to make it convenient for students to exchange information, interact, and ask questions after their lessons for the day ended. The battle hall was the most popular club, mainly established for combat. Students could spar against each other in the battle hall and compare their skills. Naturally, it was very popular, making students rush to join it like a duck rushing to water. It was because a 1-star great teacher was acting as the consultant there. The teacher would provide free public guidance every week. On Middle-earth, the status of a great teacher was very respected. and they were also very busy. They held an office or post in the various large schools. Other than guiding their personal disciples, they would also hold a fixed number of public lessons every period. If the great teacher had a position in the school, he or she would be able to give more lessons. But if it was those who held positions in a few schools, they would basically leave straight after their lessons. Students wouldn't even have the chance to ask questions. There was no solution to it. A great teacher was simply too busy, and there were too many students wanting to ask questions. They definitely didn't have the time to care for each and every student so deeply. If one wanted to get the guidance of a great teacher, there were two ways. One was to have outstanding individual talent and gained recognition from the great teacher. The great teacher then would accept the individual as a personal disciple and put his heart into guiding them. The second way was to go and attend public lectures. The effect of the latter was definitely inferior to the former. But in this world, talented people were ultimately a minority. For people like Qi Shangjie, he only managed to enter the Central Province Academy due to the decline happening after the calamity 300 years ago. If not, given his aptitude, he wouldn't even have the chance to step past the school gate. For any famous school, they regarded the aptitude and quality of their students very highly. To Qi Shangjie, entering the battle hall was the only way to raise his strength. Qi Shangjie finally couldn't bear it anymore. He bit on his blanket and cried out. Right now, his body couldn't move, and he would soon lose his only chance. How could he not despair? Something is wrong. Zhangzhou, who was lying on the lower bunk on the opposite side, instantly sat up as he looked at Qi Shangjie. What's wrong with you? I can't move anymore. Qi Shangjie's voice was mournful. I will go and call the doctor. Wang Hao was badly frightened. Don't. Upon hearing this, Qi Shangjie's reaction was even greater than Wang Hao. What situation is it now? You still want to save money? Zhangzhou was speechless. He knew that Qi Shangjie wasn't from a wealthy background. No. Wait. Maybe my body has gone numb due to sleep paralysis. I will be fine just by resting for a while longer. Qi Shangjie's face was pale, and his lips trembled. Right now, he could only pray. Wang Hao and Zhangzhou exchanged a mutual glance. There were no solutions for it. They then glanced at Yan Li, who was seated on another bed. Yan Li shrugged and put on an unable to help despite how much he wanted to expression before continuing to lower his head and read his novel. From his point of view, this poor bumpkin from the countryside should have scrammed long ago. Qi Shangjie would always disturb his beauty sleep by heading out early in the morning to practice. Now that he was paralyzed, it was truly too wonderful. He must have damaged his body because of overtraining. Yan Li silently gloated in glee. Chapter 7, Paying a Personal Visit for Guidance. In the headmaster's office, a beauty wearing moon-white robes was currently working at her desk busily. Her raven black long hair was tied up behind her head using a simple hairpin. Although she didn't have any cosmetics on, she was still elegant and incomparably beautiful. In the room, the low sound of breathing could be heard. The summer wind gusted by and the sound of paper pages flipping filled the room. There was also a faint fragrance in the atmosphere and a knowledgeable aura silently permeated the air. Zilin pushed open the door and lightened her steps as she walked in. The gatekeeper of the Qian family said that Elder Qian was out visiting friends and didn't receive your invitation. Evidently, he didn't wish to meet eldest Miss. Zilin bit her lips. Her tone was indignant. She was Xin Huai's assistant and was responsible for handling the miscellaneous official business. In private, Zilin would always refer to Xin Huai as eldest miss. Don't speak nonsense. Maybe Elder Qian is really not at home. Xin Huai's tone was calm. There were no fluctuations in her voice at all. I think he basically doesn't wish to come to the student recruitment meet. Zilin coldly spoke. I heard that he has already agreed to the invitation of the headmaster from Zhongzhou Academy and is preparing to be a great teacher under them. There were over 10 academies in Jinling City. The most famous one was undoubtedly the Central Province Academy, but due to its unceasing decline, it was now already surpassed by the Zhongzhou Academy. Xin Huai fell silent. She knew that the rallying power of Central Province Academy had almost fallen to the freezing point. She was trying her best to turn the situation around, but things naturally wouldn't be so easy. Eldest Miss, We have to think of a solution fast. 7 great teachers under us have been headhunted away by our rivals. Zilin felt anxious in her heart. The foundation of a famous school was naturally the number of great teachers it had. If they didn't even have a single great teacher, what qualifications did they have to have the title of a famous school? Amen. Xin Hui stopped her impulse to sigh. In front of outsiders, she wasn't willing to display her weaknesses and dejected feelings. Oh yes, how has he been doing? Very good. Zilin knew that Headmaster Aaron was talking about her fiancé. The moment this fellow was mentioned, Zilin would feel angry. Xin Hui was a top graduate from the Heavenly Mystery Academy, a great beauty ranked 7th on the devastating beauty rankings. She had good looks and high intelligence, so what qualifications did that Sun Mo have to marry her? He should be blaming me, right? Xin Hui furrowed her brows. Did he dare to? Zilin's vocal timbre was lifted by 10 octaves. Ever since you took over this terrible mess, you have been so busy and hard-pressed from the pressure that you have no time to handle any other matters. Moreover, you cannot make decisions about matters of the school alone. But I should have persisted back then. Sun Mo was tossed into the logistics department and couldn't even become a teaching assistant. To a teaching graduate, the impact of such a blow is too heavy. Xin Hui felt some regret. Back then, she should have endured the pressure those fellows gave her. She understood that those fellows were targeting Sun Mo because they wanted to display a show of strength toward her. If he cannot even settle this bit of difficulty, he might as well commit suicide earlier. Zilin mocked. Don't hope that he would be able to help you at all. That Sun Mo, it's impossible for him. During the afternoon, Qi Shengjie could finally move. However, his right arm and left leg were still numb and had stiffened up. He could feel hard blocks of flesh when he touched them. The tactile sensation felt like rocks. You should look for a doctor, said Wang Hao. He brought lunch back and placed it on the table. Eat a little less. You definitely won't be able to join the battle hall. The thing you have to do now is to do your utmost to not become crippled, interjected Yan Li, who was eating his porridge. Usually, he wouldn't stay in the dorm at this time. However, today was different. When he saw the look of despair on the loathsome Qi Shengjie's face, he was so happy that he wanted to hum a little tune. If you speak less, no one will think that you are on mute. Zhangzhou said. What has this got to do with you? Can't I be concerned for Qi Shengjie? Yan Li shouted back with an aggressive expression. Qi Shengjie sat on his bed and stared at the floor in a daze. He hadn't spoken for half a day. If he was really crippled, he might as well commit suicide to save some trouble for his family. You definitely damaged your body because of excessive training. Do you want to look for a great teacher and seek their guidance? Asked Zhangzhou. He couldn't be bothered to argue with Yan Li. Do you think a great teacher is a stone by the side of the road that you can find anytime? Yan Li rolled his eyes. Zhuzai was truly indulging in fantasy. Qi Shengjie, who was in a daze, suddenly woke up when he heard this. His eyes brightened as though he had managed to grab hold of his last hope. He struggled and got off the bed, suddenly recalling Sun Mo, whom he had met last night. Sun Mo had told him that his way of training was incorrect and had even specially reminded him to pay attention to his right arm and left leg. Could he have seen the problems in my body? When he thought of this, Qi Shengjie felt a little regret. He had ignored the other party yesterday. What are you doing? Wang Hao went over to help Qi Shengjie up, seeing that he wanted to move. I want to go out to relax a little. Qi Shengjie wanted to explain, but seeing that Yan Li was present, he swallowed the words he wanted to say back into his mouth. It was very easy to find the residence of the intern teachers. Qi Shengjie soon managed to inquire about Sun Mo's address. It was just that when he walked to his unit store, he hesitated again. Yesterday, my attitude wasn't good. What if he doesn't want to guide me? Lu Dai just returned and had a pottery pot with him. When he saw Qi Shengjie standing at the door, he lowered his voice and asked, "Who are you looking for?" After asking, Lu Dai silently felt a little annoyed. His voice was too loud, exhibiting the prestige of a teacher. Yet he had ignored the personal warmth and friendliness. He had to continue tempering his voice more. Qi Shengjie's neck shrank back. He avoided Lu Dai's gaze and took a few steps back. Lu Dai shrugged. He didn't express an opinion and entered the door. During dusk, the birds returned to their best. Yuan Feng carried a pile of books and returned. The moment he entered, he asked, "What's wrong with that student outside?" "No idea. He already came a few times this afternoon." There was a plate of pig trotters placed in front of Ludai. He was carefully pulling out the fur. This was something he wanted to give to a teacher, so he naturally needed to make it perfect. Did the student come because he wanted some guidance? Yuan Feng was curious. As he was speaking, Zhang Sheng also returned. Night descended. Qi Shengjie still didn't have the intention to leave. "Do you guys think that he is here for guidance but doesn't dare to ask?" Ludai subconsciously tidied up his clothes. "If he wants to look for someone, it most probably is Zhang Sheng, I guess." Yuan Feng bootlicked. From his perspective, there was an 80% to 90% chance that Zhang Sheng would join the faculty after the internship. There was no mistake to forge a good relationship with him now. Zhang Sheng didn't say anything, but his arrogant expression clearly said that he was also paying attention to that student. "Should we go and ask him?" Ludai suggested. He had some hopes that maybe the student was looking for him. "If we have to go and ask, Zhang Sheng should be the one," Yuan Feng urged. "A student staying here until night just to seek guidance. If this matter circulates out, it would be good for our reputation." Zhang Sheng had long since decided, since that student didn't want to knock on the door, he wouldn't take the initiative to ask. After all, even an intern teacher had to have some prestige, he mustn't lower himself. But when he heard Ludai's words, he found it logical to quickly go and see what that fellow wants guidance on. Ludai urged. "Amen." Zhang Sheng stood up. He smoothed the creases in his clothes before walking out. "You have been standing outside the door for so long. Do you have something you need?" Zhang Sheng asked. Qi Shengjie swallowed a mouthful of saliva. "I'm looking for Sun Mo. Teacher Sunday." When he heard the two words Sun Mo, Zhang Sheng's face instantly turned black, and he almost wanted to turn and leave. However, he bore the impulse. A student came to seek guidance from Sun Mo. Why did he have to come out? If this matter was to spread, he would truly lose face. Hence, he had to ask clearly. "Why are you looking for him?" After Zhang Sheng asked, a self-mocking smile appeared on his face. He felt that he was thinking too much. For trash like Sun Mo, even if the student was retarded, he would never be looking for Sun Mo for guidance. To ask for guidance. Qi Shengjie's voice became even lower. "What?" Zhang Sheng's voice broke. Even Ludai and Yuan Feng, who were eavesdropping from the house, also had dumbfounded looks on their faces. Qi Shengjie lowered his head. His foot shifted as he wanted to leave. "Stop right there." Zhang Sheng's voice was filled with anger. "Sun Mo isn't around. What do you want guidance on? I can answer for him." Zhang Sheng truly didn't want to bother with this ignorant student, but there was no way he could let this student walk away like that. If not, wouldn't that be saying that he was inferior to Sun Mo? Hence, what he needed to do now was settle the problem of this student and prove that his teaching ability was excellent. My hand and leg are disabled. I want to seek guidance on the reason behind this." Qi Shengjie decided to muster up his courage and asked. Zhang Sheng was astonished. After that, his complexion turned ashen as he roared, "Damn! You are not only crippled in your hands and legs, your brain is crippled too. Are you crazy? If you are injured, why don't you look for a doctor?" After cursing, Zhang Sheng turned and left. From his point of view, this must be a sinister plot between competitors. They wanted to destroy his reputation and lower his chance of joining the faculty after the internship. Sun Mo must be the one behind this. Yuan Feng pointed the finger of blame at Sun Mo. "He must be jealous of your talent and wants to drag you under the water." Ludai pretended to be a cowardly turtle and remained silent as he continued plucking the fur from the pig trotters. Bang! Zhang Sheng smashed his teacup angrily, annoyed because he had never thought of using this method. "I will find a few students to look for me in batches to increase my reputation." Wasn't it just gaining reputation? Who didn't know how to do this? That fellow Sun Mo doesn't have any abilities, but has quite a lot of crafty ideas. Yuan Feng patted his pocket and calculated how much money he had. He could hire a few students for this purpose too, but he was also worried the school might find out and directly fire him. When the three woke up in the morning and went out, they saw Qi Shengjie waiting at a location not far away from their door. This time around, Sun Mo must have paid dearly. I wonder how much he spent. Yuan Feng mocked. HMPH. Zhang Sheng didn't look at Qi Shengjia. Such an inferior student wouldn't be able to excel in his entire life. He would feel disdain if he was to speak half a word more to this student. In the canteen, as Sun Mo ate a vegetarian bun, he was looking at the floating golden-colored book before him in a daze. Yesterday, the lucky treasure chest had been refreshed. Sun Mo had thought that he would get another clump of soil, but then this book appeared. According to logic, he should feel happy after getting a prize. But when he saw the name of this skill book, Sun Mo felt perplexed and even a little unhappy. Chapter 8. Expert Grade Circulation Technique, Ancient Massage Technique. This was the skill book Sun Mo had just received. Upon hearing this name, everyone would feel an ambiguous feeling. In the past, was your name the Massage Master System, but you took an arrow to the knee and changed into the Absolute Great Teacher System? Sun Mo mocked. The system remained silent. Are you planning on nurturing me into a young girl who massages customers' feet in a hair salon? Sun Mo had a suspicious attitude. You are a male, the system replied. Also, I discovered that you have quite the poisonous tongue. Clearly, the skill book you gave has a problem. You don't allow me to talk about it? Sun Mo furrowed his brows. As a teacher, how can I curse at people? Let me tell you, if I begin cursing, I will be like a wild unleashed dog. I'm even afraid of myself. The ancient massage technique is a very effective massage technique from ancient times. With your hands, you can sense and understand every part of your target's body, achieving perfect control and allowing you to plan the logical cultivation path of the target. The system explained. Understood. Sun Mo had a colleague whose husband was a province-level athlete. Hence, he knew that body massage was a part of their training. Maintaining the conditions of their bodies and recovery was of utmost importance. The better the maintenance, the longer they would be able to compete in their career. However, isn't the name Ancient Massage Technique a little too out of style? Can you change into something more impressive sounding? For example, Ancient Dragon Capturing Hands? Sun Mo's complaint was ignored by the system. Are you going to learn it or not? Of course, I'm learning it. Sun Mo's reply was clean and clear-cut. Pack. The skill book shattered, transforming into a ball of golden light that shot into Sun Mo's center of the brow. Some strange knowledge appeared in his mind. Congratulations, you obtained the expert grade circulation technique. This technique is one of the 4 parts of the ancient massage technique. It mainly targets the energy channels. Once the energy channels in one's body are cleared, the spirit chi would be able to flow through unobstructed. Sun Mo's lips trembled and almost cursed the system's mother. After half a day, this was just a partial skill. How petty. After breakfast, Sun Mo found a quiet storehouse. After locking the door, he began to cultivate the grand universe formless divine art. Because of the presence of spirit chi, he discovered that his body was extremely strong. With just a casual leap, he could jump 5 to 6 meters. If I went to run a marathon and failed to give a psychological impact to the second ranker, I would truly have let this body down. Sun Mo fantasized. Everyone would thirst for a healthy body. In the past, he had been nearsighted and had had problems with his stomach and cervical vertebra. Now, they were completely fixed. Everything is good about cultivation other than the fact that it is too tiring. Although he was grumbling, Sun Mo was close to stepping in the doorway of the first level of the Grand Universe Formless Divine Art. The first level would allow him to unleash his potential and control his body, allowing it to erupt with strength at any moment, achieving perfect control of his strength. The essence of the first level was one's control over their body. It was to dig out more of his potential. This cultivation session lasted for a day. During this time, Sun Mo saw Li Gong, who was looking all over for him. But since he was hidden, Li Gong didn't find him. It wasn't that he was afraid of Li Gong. He just didn't have the mood to handle him temporarily. It felt like he just got a brand new game and was fascinated by it, let alone going to school. He didn't even have time to meet his girlfriend. Sun Mo didn't like crowds. He waited until the peak time was over before he headed to the canteen. He ordered a bowl of noodles that was extremely chewy. The broth was clear and satisfying, and he also ordered a few pieces of beef that were boiled for the whole night. It was so delicious to the extent where he could even swallow his tongue. Intern teachers had subsidies, so Sun Mo only had to spend 5 coins. If he was officially employed, the subsidies would be even higher. After leaving the canteen, Sun Mo headed to the Sorrowless Lake, wanting to take a walk after dinner. Qi Shengjie followed 20 meters behind him. His heart was filled with hesitation. Earlier, he couldn't find Sun Mo. Then Wang Hao had an idea and told him to wait at the canteen's entrance. After all, everyone needed to eat. Teacher Sun. Qi Shengjie hastened his speed and chased after Sun Mo, which caused him to pull a few more muscles. It was so painful that his head was covered in sweat. Your leg is crippled? Sun Mo stopped and furrowed his brows. My right hand too. Qi Shengjie revealed a tragic smile. He stared at Sun Mo's calm face and gritted his teeth before falling on his knees. The force was so great that during the contact between his knees and the pavement, a loud thud could be heard. Teacher Sun, please advise me. Qi Shengjie spoke and prostrated himself. This was his last hope. Get up. Sun Mo berated. There's gold underneath the kneecaps of man. You should only kneel to the heavens, the earth, and your parents. Sun Mo hated those who didn't love themselves the most. Hence after saying this, his emotions flooded forth, activating his great teacher halo. Swish. From Sun Mo, a golden light sprang forth like the fine rain, landing on Qi Shengjie's body. Under the supportive effect of his priceless advice halo, the sentence about having gold underneath a man's kneecap was like the chime of a giant bell, shaking Qi Shengjie's heart and mind. He subconsciously stood up. I was wrong. Qi Shengjie apologized. He lowered his head as all hesitation from before completely faded away. The emotions replacing it were deep respect as well as regrets. He shouldn't have looked down on Teacher Sunday. The effect of priceless advice was truly powerful. He soon felt hope rising again in his heart. Ding. Favorable impression points from Qi Shengjie +3. Prestige connection with Qi Shengjie unlocked. Current state, neutral. 3/100ths. I can gain favorable impression points like this. Sun Mo activated divine sight and observed Qi Shengjie. The muscles of Qi Shengjie's right arm and left leg were injured seriously. This was especially so for his energy channels. They were a mess. Teacher, please guide me. Qi Shengjie once again implored with sincerity. You want me to cure your limbs? I apologize. I won't be able to do it. Sun Mo rejected. Teacher Sun, you are my last hope. Qi Shengjie forcefully held back his tears and didn't allow them to flow. You fell into this state because of excessive training. Overtraining caused your muscles and energy channels to be damaged. As long as you stop training, you will slowly recover. Sun Mo was very confident because this was the result divine sight told him. It was extremely accurate. How long must I stop training for? Qi Shengjie had a look of hope on his face. 1 year at least. When he heard this answer, Qi Shengjie's complexion turned pale. No, the time is too long. I have to gain the qualifications to join the battle hall in this test. If not, I can only quit school. The word quit school caused Sun Mo to frown. He was frowning so hard that the tightness of his brows could crush a crab to death. As a teacher, these were the 2 words he didn't want to hear the most. Teacher Sun, you definitely have a solution. Can you please guide me on what to do? Qi Shengjie's knees bent. He wanted to kneel again, but he forcefully bore with the impulse. Sun Mo fell silent. Qi Shengjie didn't dare to speak and just stood quietly at the side, waiting for Sun Mo's judgment. The circulation technique should be able to cure his damaged energy channels, but I have no solutions for his muscles. But then, his main problem now is still his energy channels. At the very least, I can allow his arm and leg to not be so stiff. Staring at the data from Qi Shengjie, Sun Mo contemplated and told him the truth. I can cure your arm and leg, but I don't have 100% confidence. An unexpected accident might exacerbate your condition or even cause you to become a true cripple. Do you still want to go ahead with the treatment? This was the first time Sun Mo would be using the circulation technique. Who knew how the situation would turn out? Qi Shengjie was in a daze. Sun Mo wasn't in a hurry and silently waited. After 5 minutes, he turned and left. teacher's son. Qi Shengjie bowed. I will leave everything to you. The two of them went back to a storehouse. Sun Mo tidied the place a bit and took out a piece of a clean wooden plank. He then asked Qi Shengjie to remove his clothes and lie there. Expert grade. As the name implied, it meant that he was proficient in this, and his level of expertise was above good. Although it wasn't at the Grand Master level, it was at least at the elite standard. The expert grade circulation technique that Sun Mo grasped allowed him to know how to handle Qi Shengjie's condition the moment he touched his right arm and rubbed it for a bit. An intense piercing pain could be felt from his arm, causing Qi Shengjie to scream in pain. He then hurriedly closed his mouth, afraid that he might disturb Teacher Sun's focus. Sun Mo focused his mind. He gathered spirit qi in his fingers and performed Tuina, Chinese massage therapy, for Qi Shengjie. A feeling of being poked by needles could be felt from the places Sun Mo touched. About 2 minutes later, the pain transformed into itchiness, and after that, the itchiness transformed into currents of warmth that circulated around his arm. Qi Shengjie comfortably closed his eyes. He felt as though he was floating on clouds and returned to his mother's embrace. The first rays of the morning sun penetrated through the window and cascaded down on Qi Shengjie's face. When he woke up, it was already morning. Here, eat something. Sun Mo went to the canteen and bought some porridge, passing it to Qi Shengjie. I don't dare. Qi Shengjie hurriedly rose and waved his hand to reject. After that, he started. He discovered that the numbness of his right arm and left leg, as well as other parts of his body, had completely faded. Teacher's son. Qi Shengjie abruptly inclined his head. Tears flashed in his eyes as he looked at Sun Mo. This current state of the body was something he hadn't felt for a long time. Let's eat. Sun Mo passed a bowl to Qi Shengjie. Last night after this fellow had fallen asleep, Sun Mo decided to use Tuina to treat all the energy channels in Qi Shengjie's body. After using divine sight to observe, Sun Mo could confirm that the injuries to Qi Shengjie's energy channels had been greatly reduced. If he came for Tuina a few times more, he should be able to recover completely. Truthfully speaking, Sun Mo really wanted to shout the words, "Absolute Great Teacher System is awesome." The ancient massage technique he got in a treasure chest was truly useful. If he had enough favorable impression points, he also wanted to buy the other parts of this technique. Qi Shengjie placed down his bowl and had a solemn look on his face as he knelt. He kowtowed heavily 3 times, causing 3 thudding sounds to ring out. Even the dust on the ground flew up from the impact. Teacher son, I have no words to express my gratitude toward you. As Qi Shengjie kowtowed to convey his thanks, the system notification sound rang out in Sun Mo's ear. Ding! Favorable impression points from Qi Shengjie plus 15. Prestige connection with Qi Shengjie. Current state, neutral, 18/100ths. Sun Mo nodded in satisfaction, not because of Qi Shengjie's respectful attitude, but rather because his favorable impression points were now in double digits. Adding on Li Ziqi's 4 points and Li Gong's 1 point, he now had a total of 23 favorable impression points. However, he still had a long way to go. The price for a star moon fruit was 1,000 points. Since he could increase his realm after consuming the star moon fruit, if he bought a bunch of them to eat, didn't that mean he would no longer need to cultivate? Qi Shengjie was still very agitated. He had looked for Sun Mo because he had been desperate. However, the effect was much better than he had imagined. Such an awesome intern teacher is tossed into the logistics department. Is the school's management blind? Qi Shengjie felt that it was an injustice for Sun Mo. All right, let's eat. Just when Sun Mo ate a mouthful of porridge, he froze. The voice of the system hadn't stopped. Ding! New mission unlocked. Help Qi Shengjie pass the battle hall's test. Reward: a golden treasure chest. Bang! After the system finished speaking, Sun Mo swept the bowl to the ground. Chapter 9. Extremely shocking. Qi Shengjie was badly frightened, and his expression tightened. He didn't dare to swallow the half-mouthful of porridge in his mouth. Can you be any shadier? Sun Mo was extremely unhappy. Qi Shengjie's potential value was extremely low, and there were just 5 days before the test started. Sun Mo was a newcomer, and the Central Province Academy could be considered his home ground. Hence, after spending 2 days in the library, He had almost read through all the information relevant to the school. The Battle Hall was the most popular club in the Central Province Academy. It was also extremely famous in Jinling City. In order to maintain the Battle Hall's lofty status and make each member of the club cherish their identity, the limit of their members had always been set at 500. Every 3 months, the Battle Hall would organize an entrance test. Students who wished to join the hall could draw lots in the test and choose a person in the club as their opponent. If they won, they would be able to enter the Battle Hall. If they lost, they had to wait for next time. If a member lost, they would instantly lose their identity as a Battle Hall member. It was precisely this cruel competition rule that caused all members of the Battle Hall to do their utmost in cultivation. There was a great teacher in the Battle Hall acting as a consultant, and he would provide public guidance lectures for free every week. As long as one wasn't retarded, who would bear to miss it? Other than this, if one could join the Battle Hall, their reputation would surely grow. Their social circle would enlarge as well, and this would prove to be of immense help for their futures. Under the temptation of such good conditions, the competition in each test would be extremely intense. Even using his knees to think, Sun Mo could tell that Qi Shengjie didn't stand a chance at all. A great teacher is someone who can transform the impossible into the possible, turning a student who's crow into a phoenix, from rotten wood to a pillar that can support the state. If not, why would the world need great teachers for? The system sounded like this was inevitable and right. Do you have an original body? Come out for me. I guarantee I won't hit you to death. Sun Mo cracked his fingers. Teacher Sun. Qi Shengjie summoned up his courage and asked, eat your porridge. Sun Mo commanded. Oh, Qi Shengjie's neck shrank back, and gurgling sounds rang out as he ate the porridge. Although it was a little hot, he didn't spit it out. After finishing your meal, lie back on the wooden plank. It seemed like there was no way for him to cancel the mission that had been issued. Sun Mo could only do his best. Teacher Sun is so good. Qi Shengjie's eyes grew wet again. As a mediocre student, he had never received any extra care from any teachers before. Ding. Favorable impression points from Qi Shengjie +2. Prestige connection state with Qi Shengjie, neutral. 21/100ths. Upon hearing the notification, Sun Mo's mood became much better. At the very least, this fellow still had a conscience and knew how to feel grateful. Qi Shengjie didn't dare to let Sun Mo wait too long. He hurriedly finished his breakfast and lay back on the wooden plank. Teacher Sun, do you think this pose is okay? Qi Shengjie's eyes were filled with trepidation. Relax your body. Why are you so nervous for? I'm not a butcher, all right? Sun Mo was speechless. Why are you lying in such a straight and stiff manner? Are you a salted fish? Oh, Qi Shengjie grew even more nervous. Sun Mo didn't wish to be stared at, so he took Qi Shengjie's clothes to cover his head. After that, he grabbed hold of Qi Shengjie's left arm and started to Ina, clearing his energy channels. Time slowly flowed. How's the feeling? As Sun Mo massaged, he asked Qi Shengjie. He could gain a more detailed understanding of this partial ancient massage technique from Qi Shengjie's answers. It's painful at the start. After that, the pain transforms into an itch. Qi Shengjie moved slightly. It feels like ants are crawling on my body. And after that, Sun Mo patted Qi Shengjie's arm. Flip your body over and lie down on your stomach. One couldn't help but say that this fellow did train his muscles well. Qi Shengjie's body was robust. Sun Mo could tell that Qi Shengjie was someone walking down the path of a man of steel. Hot. Qi Shengjie then flipped his body over. It feels comfortable. Sun Mo's hands gently massaged Qi Shengjie's cervical vertebra. After that, his hands moved down toward the backbone. When his hands reached the lumbar vertebra, Sun Mo suddenly used force and pressed down. Ugh! Qi Shengjie immediately shouted in pain. His backbone curved like a bow, and he looked akin to a cooked prawn now. Before the pain faded, the spirit Qi in the surroundings suddenly surged in, flooding his body. Amen. Sun Mo was puzzled. As he also understood the Tao of cultivation, he soon realized that this was the phenomenon that would occur before a cultivator broke through to the next level. Because this was the first time he was seeing it, Sun Mo observed very seriously. His hands didn't leave Qi Shengjie's body and were moving about, stopping on different parts as he sensed the flow of spirit Qi through the energy channels. pack, pack, pack. Qi Shangjia's body suddenly emitted patting sounds. His muscles seemed to be inflated. They swelled up, and this condition lasted for about 3 minutes before they returned to their original form. In the storehouse, the surging spirit Qi also gradually calmed down. Sun Mo retreated as he recalled the massage process that had happened earlier in his mind. This was his habit. Through reflecting the process step by step, he wanted to reinforce his memories and dig out all the good points and flaws that were worthy to be taken note of. This way, he could perform better in the future. I broke through. Qi Shangjia's body trembled. He was dumbstruck as he stared at his hands in a daze. This feeling of having an abundance of spirit Qi in his body. There was no mistake. He had experienced this wondrous state before. It was half a year ago when he had broken through to the 3RD level of the body refinement realm. He was in a daze for 5 whole minutes. Only then did he remember Sun Mo, and he hurriedly got up. Boom! Qi Shangjia overturned the wooden plank, scattering dust around. He took 2 steps and rushed in front of Sun Mo. With a thudding sound, he knelt down. Bang! Qi Shangjia kowtowed. The force he used was too great and shattered the floor panel. He wanted to say some words of thanks, but he was too agitated and only unintelligible words came out of his mouth. In the end, he didn't manage to say anything. Why are you kneeling again? Sun Mo frowned. Are you a kowtowing bug? No. I not. Qi Shangjia's head was filled with sweat. He was afraid that Sun Mo would loathe him. But because of this, he grew more and more anxious and couldn't speak smoothly. At this moment, Sun Mo's status in his heart had risen endlessly. Just after a round of massage, Sun Mo had allowed him to step into the 40H level of the body refinement realm. This was too awesome. If you are not, quickly get up, Sun Mo instructed. Tidy up the things on the ground. Amen. Qi Shangjia was so obedient that he was like a sheep being glared at by a wolf. Right now, he was incomparably excited and wanted to shout at the top of his lungs. By breaking through to the 4th level, his chance of passing the battle halls test would be greater. When he thought of this, Qi Shangjia couldn't help but praise Sun Mo. Teacher Sun, you are so awesome. Ding. Favorable impression points from Qi Shangjia plus 30. Prestige connection with Qi Shangjia. Neutral. 51/100ths. Sun Mo clicked his tongue. Plus 30 points directly. He wasn't despising it for being too little. Rather, he wanted to know how he could get so many favorable impression points every time. When your active guidance generates a favorable impression like closeness, being impressed, feelings of worship, etc., you will be able to gain favorable impression points. The greater the emotional fluctuation of the target, the more favorable impression points would be generated. Using Qi Shangjia as an example. Right now, his breakthrough causes him to feel hope of passing the battle halls test. And if he really passed, his life would immediately be much better. This is why he has generated plenty of favorable impression points. If the system's voice could have a little more emotions in it, it would really be like a caring elder sister. So, this is the case. The more they feel that my guidance is important, the better it would be for me. So I have to put in more effort in guiding others to gain more favorable impression points. Right? Correct. The system paused for a moment before adding another line. In view of your intelligence, I discovered that it is very possible for the absolute great teacher system to finally make a correct choice in choosing you. Aren't these words superfluous? Sun Mo wanted to roll his eyes. I take back my words. Your mouth is simply too toxic. After the system said that, it fell back into silence. How are you feeling? Sun Mo then glanced at Qi Shangjia. He didn't feel proud of himself. This was because Qi Shangjia had already cultivated to the peak of the 3RD level before this, and he only lacked a bit of stimulus before he could step into the gateway of the 40H level. It was just that his body got injured and he was overly fatigued, leading to his weaker state of being. This was why Qi Shangjia didn't manage to break through even after a long time. Sun Mo's ancient massage technique could clear his energy channels, allowing his spirit qi to flow in the smooth circulation. This could be considered a stimulus that triggered Qi Shangjia's breakthrough. I feel very excellent. Qi Shangjia punched his fists together, wanting nothing more than to find someone for a spar right now. Scram back and rest. Don't keep thinking about cultivating. Sun Mo commanded. Ah? Qi Shangjia was astonished. He initially wanted to say no, But when he thought of how much Sun Mo had helped him, he immediately shut his mouth and nodded heavily. I'm going back to sleep right now. During these few days, you can come back here after school. In order to complete the mission and get the reward, Sun Mo could only give it his all. Teacher Sun, you are willing to guide me? Qi Shengji's gaze was glowing as he looked at Sun Mo. He was so agitated that he was panting. Sun Mo waved his hand, and Qi Shengji tactfully departed. Before he left, he still closed the door to the storehouse gently. It was as though if his movements were too big, he would startle Teacher Sunday. When he reached his dorm, although it was in the middle of the day, Qi Shengji hurried to bed so he could sleep. Right now, he treated Sun Mo's words as a royal edict. He would execute Sun Mo's instructions carefully to the fullest. Sigh, Shengji is so pitiful. I'm afraid he is going to quit school. Wang Hao sighed. It might not sound nice, but given Shengji's aptitude, he won't be able to get into the battle hall anyway. During these few years of school, he had spent quite a lot of money, but he didn't make much progress, let alone his father. I also feel that it would be better for him to quit school and find a job to lighten the financial burden of his family. Zhangzhou didn't have a bad heart, but he truly felt that Qi Shengji was wasting time. Without the guidance of a great teacher, even if Qi Shengji practiced without eating or sleep, he wouldn't have any results. Honestly speaking, a place like the Central Province Academy didn't lack students who were willing to work hard. What they lacked was the guidance of great teachers. When the two of them returned to their dorm and saw Qi Shengji lying on this bed, they shook their heads. It seemed like Qi Shengji's situation didn't turn for the better. The two of them didn't know how to console him, yet they suddenly heard him laughing. It's over. Wang Hao waved his hand. He has gone crazy. Shengji, there are many opportunities in life. Don't be too persistent about the present. Zhangzhou consoled, but before he could finish his sentence, he was interrupted. I broke through. Qi Shengji shared his happiness with these two friends of his. Huh? The two of them were stunned. Zhangzhou walked forward and placed his hand on Qi Shengji's forehead. Are you having a fever? Nope. Qi Shengji pulled Zhangzhou's hand away. I'm telling you guys that Teacher Sun is very awesome. Not only has he cured me, but he even caused me to have a successful breakthrough. Which Teacher Sun? Zhangzhou asked. I'm talking about Sun Mo, Teacher Sun. Qi Shengji's voice was filled with admiration. Sun Mo, that new intern teacher? Zhangzhou had some impression of this name. After all, Sun Mo's matters were considered a hot topic among the students. Are you certain you didn't mention the wrong name? I heard that he was a soft rice guy who couldn't even become a teaching assistant. He was thrown into the logistics department instead. Wang Hao was puzzled. Chapter 10, I know all your secrets. Huh? Qi Shengji's brain had always been slow. He didn't know what to reply upon being asked like this. After a while, he suddenly remembered a reason. There must be someone among the higher-ups who was jealous of Teacher Sun's talent. This was why they forced him into the logistics department. Wang Hao shrugged. Sure. Whatever you say. I'm not lying to you guys. Qi Shengji was anxious. I'm telling you guys this because I wanted you guys to get his guidance. If he used his massaging technique on you guys and allowed you to level up, how good would that be? Wang Hao's heart stirred. Tell us how he guided you. Zhangzhou was more intelligent. He wanted to judge Sun Mo's capability through the guidance process. Qi Shengji stated everything truthfully. After Zhangzhou finished hearing it, he nodded. Understood. Actually, he didn't guide you much. He only gave you a massage. Seems like Sun Mo's massage techniques are not bad. We can try it. Right now, Wang Hao was stuck at the 4th level of the body refinement realm for 3 months, showing no progress at all. It's Teacher Sun. Qi Shengji strongly emphasized. He had wanted to say that they didn't have enough time last night, and so Teacher Sun only had time to help him recover and would guide him later on. However, he was interrupted by Zhangzhou. You should rest. We will go and take a look. The two of them walked out. You all have to be more respectful to Teacher Sun. Qi Shengji reminded them. He lay down for a while, but he couldn't feel at ease. Hence, he got up, wore his shirt, and went out to chase after his friends. Bang! Li Gong kicked the door to the storehouse open, having an unfriendly look on his face. His gaze was like a razor blade, wanting to slice Sun Mo's flesh off. Sun Mo didn't even lift his eyelids. He continued to practice the first level of the grand universe formless divine art. Oi! Seeing Sun Mo ignoring him, Li Gong unhappily roared. However, this display of dominance was completely useless. During these few years in the Central Province Academy, he had seen quite a lot of intern teachers. The vast majority would be filled with trepidation when they first arrived. They were cautious and overly friendly, fearing that they might make mistakes. However, this Sun Mo was very good indeed. He was extremely calm. Despite having received the instructions from the logistics department head to chase Sun Mo out of the school, Li Gong had to admit that Sun Mo's temperament was very good. In addition to his exquisite face, as well as his body that was as straight as a ramrod, he was indeed very good looking. As expected, you have the capital to eat soft rice, Li Gong mumbled when he thought of his own ugly face. His unhappiness toward Sun Mo started to rise rapidly. He was preparing to ruthlessly teach Sun Mo a lesson. Oh, so you like to be a cripple? Sun Mo smiled lightly. You are the one who likes to be one. Li Gong angrily cursed. In that case, why is your attitude toward me, someone who can cure your lameness, so rude and unreasonable? Sun Mo counter-asked. You can cure me? Li Gong's eyelids twitched. Naturally, Sun Mo's words were simple and concise. You. Li Gong's chest heaved. He glared at Sun Mo with rage in his eyes. His fists were clenched tightly and wanted to hit someone. The mouth of this fellow was so toxic. If you don't believe it, you can scram. Sun Mo's attitude became domineering. Could it be that you don't want to join the faculty after the internship? Li Gong threatened. As the saying went, it was easy to talk to the Yama King but hard to deal with the little ghosts. For a foreman in the logistics department like Li Gong, he could truly make an intern die if he was determined to mess with them. If the higher-ups arranged an intern under Li Gong, the intern would simply be in hell. After all, if an intern committed too many mistakes during his internship, he would directly be fired. Whether the mistakes committed were a lot or little, it was naturally dependent on Li Gong's judgment. Hee. Sun Mo coldly laughed. Although Xin Huai was his childhood sweetheart and this school was also a part of his childhood, he absolutely wouldn't give in and fawn on Li Gong. Li Gong was so angered that his lungs felt as though they were about to burst. At this moment, a call of Teacher Sun interrupted their conversation. Qi Shengjie and his two friends stood at the door. This is the storehouse area. What are you doing here? Li Gong suppressed his temper. We are here to look for Teacher Sun. Qi Shengjie replied. Teacher Sun? Li Gong's gaze was filled with suspicions as it landed on Sun Mo. You are talking about him? There was no need for Qi Shengjie to reply because he directly pulled Wang Hao and Zhangzhou along as they jogged to Sun Mo. Good afternoon, Teacher Sun. Fuck. Li Gong was shocked. He had a foolish look on his face as he surveyed Qi Shengjie. He wanted to ask if Qi Shengjie had gone crazy. Sun Mo wasn't even a teaching assistant. Teacher Sun, recently my cultivation hasn't been smooth. I wish to seek your guidance. Zhangzhou had a glib tongue. He was the first to speak. Sun Mo didn't reply. He used divine sight and surveyed the two students. The name Wang Hao appeared above the head of the slightly shorter guy on the left. Strength, 6, mediocre. Intellect, 5, standard. Agility, 6, mediocre. Will, 3, extraordinary mediocre. Potential value, below average. Note, don't waste time on mediocre people. System, I thought you said I was toxic. Your notes are also quite brutal. Sun Mo glanced over. There wasn't any especially dazzling data. Everything indicated mediocrity. It was so boring that people would fall asleep if they saw it. As for Zhangzhou, he was slightly more good-looking, but his stats were mediocre as well. However, his potential value was slightly stronger, evaluated at average. Why are there no geniuses looking for me? Sun Mo sighed. Seeing that Sun Mo wasn't speaking and was surveying their bodies, Wang Hao and Zhangzhou couldn't help but squirm as they felt a little uncomfortable. Don't tell me he is a pervert that likes pretty boys. Zhangzhou, who had always felt himself to be handsome, touched his left face. Oi, you guys must have been tricked by him. He can't even be a teaching assistant and can only come to the logistics department to help me do odd jobs. Li Gong vilified Sun Mo. Please do not insult Teacher Sun. Wang Hao and Zhangzhou had no reactions. But Qi Shangjie couldn't take it anymore and turned to roar at Li Gong. Li Gong's expression stiffened. A nameless evil fire rose in his chest. In the end, he was only a foreman in the logistics department, and even a trash student like Qi Shangjie dared to roar at him. Moreover, when facing Sun Mo, even if he was just an intern teacher, no students would dare to show him disrespect on the surface no matter how badly they were cursing Sun Mo in their hearts. This was the status of a teacher in society. In truth, if it wasn't for the logistics department head instructing him to make things difficult for Sun Mo and even saying he would bear all consequences, Li Gong wouldn't have messed with Sun Mo. Sun Mo lowered his head and stared at the light blue robes he was wearing. Although this was made from cotton and the design was simple, it represented the identity of an intern teacher. Li Gong, although he was wearing a buttoned mandarin jacket and blue cotton pants, including a gemstone ring on his finger that was unknown to be genuine or fake, he was still just an unskilled worker in the logistics department. I definitely have to wear the sky blue teacher's attire. Sun Mo suddenly felt that the set of clothes he was wearing was very irksome. Teacher Sun, I heard you helped Shangjie break through in a single night. Zhangzhou also couldn't control his emotions. You guys can return. I'm busy now. Sun Mo naturally understood that these two students wanted to use his guidance as an excuse to experience the ancient massage technique. Zhangzhou, Qi Shangjie felt a little unhappy. Was this the attitude you should have when asking someone for help? What if this annoyed Teacher Sun? Teacher Sun, my cultivation has made no progress for 3.5 months. Please provide me with some guidance. Compared to Zhangzhou, Wang Hao's performance was more obedient. Foolish. Li Gong stared at them with disdain. The Central Province Academy had truly declined. The students they recruited were getting more and more trashy, and they didn't even have basic judgment any longer. Your problem lies in you wasting too much energy. Stop thinking about women, and you should also not overly indulge in masturbation. After resting for a while, your problem will be solved as long as you focus on your cultivation. Sun Mo's expression was calm, but he was laughing in his heart. The data showed that Wang Hao's will was only 3 points. It was very bad. The data also showed that he would frequently stay up late through the recent half of the year. He needed to masturbate 5 to 6 times a day. No matter how strong a young man's body was, it wouldn't be able to take it. Wang Hao didn't expect Sun Mo to point out something like this. He was in a daze. After that, his face turned as red as a baboon's buttocks. How embarrassing. Seeing that his secret was discovered, Wang Hao was so embarrassed that he didn't know what to do. He was fond of reading novels. Half a year ago, he had managed to borrow a book named Silver Lotus for reading. After he finished it, it was like a brand new world had opened up for him. From then on, he couldn't stop. It was also at that time that he got into the habit of masturbation. He wanted to get rid of the habit, but sometimes, he couldn't bear the impulse. This is nonsense, right? Zhangzhou glanced at Sun Mo, feeling that this Sun Mo was good at talking bullshit with a straight face. Teacher Sun, thank you for your guidance. Wang Hao bowed. Compared to earlier, his attitude was much more respectful now. He wasn't a fool. Sun Mo had merely taken a few glances at him earlier and could tell where his problem lay. Wasn't his judgment a little too terrifying? If Sun Mo took the effort to guide him, he might be able to improve his strength by a lot. Ding. Favorable impression points from Wang Hao +5. Prestige connection with Wang Hao unlocked. Current state, neutral, 5/100ths. His words were correct. Zhangzhou was shocked after seeing Wang Hao's attitude. Speaking of masturbation, he recalled that during these few days, Wang Hao's toilet time had become longer and he would frequently stay in the toilet for 1 hour. Zhangzhou had initially been worried that Wang Hao was not feeling well. Qi Shangjie had a stupefied look on his face. He didn't understand what masturbation was. Really? Li Gong stared at Sun Mo doubtfully. Was he so awesome? Or was this a prank? This must be a prank, right? I really didn't judge wrongly. Teacher Sun is so awesome. Qi Shangjie was proud of this. Ding. Favorable impression from Qi Shangjie +1. Prestige connection with Qi Shangjie, neutral, 51/100. Sun Mo glanced at Qi Shengjie while feeling a myriad of emotions in his heart. Honest people were so nice. It hadn't been a day and Qi Shengjie had contributed over 50 favorable impression points to him. In the future, why don't I look for students with lower intellect? Sun Mo was silently contemplating. To nurture such students into talent, the difficulty was greatly increased. Zhangzhou and Wang Hao wanted to experience the ancient massage technique, but they didn't know what they should say. Qi Shengjie was an honest man. As he couldn't bear to see his good friends in such an awkward position, he decided to help them say it. Teacher Sun, they wished to experience your massage technique. Qi Shengjie's EQ was too low. He basically didn't think that if Sun Mo was unwilling, this sentence would cause Sun Mo to be very unhappy and start to loathe him. Sun Mo didn't think too much about this and wanted to reject it. You say you want to experience it, and I have to let you experience it? What about my reputation? However, before he could say anything, the system notification rang out. Ding! New mission. Help 10 people solve their energy channels issues. Do your best to upgrade the circulation technique. Reward: 1 black iron treasure chest.